Prime Minister Modi has landed in Kannur, after which he's going to go to landslide hit areas in Wayanad and look at the relief operations in those areas. On your screen, you see images of Kerala Chief Minister Pinarayi Vijayan receiving Prime Minister Modi at the Kannur airport. Prime Minister Modi is going to visit landslide hit areas, including Mundakkai, where he's going to, and Churamarai, and where he's going to look at relief operations and also rehabilitation operations. On your screen, you see Pinarayi Vijayan, Kerala Chief Minister, greeting Prime Minister Narendra Modi as he's landed at the Kannur airport. Shibimol is joining us on the phone line. Shibimol, tell us more about what Prime Minister Modi is going to do now that he's there in Kannur. He's landed in Kannur and he's going to visit the landslide hit areas in Wayanad.
Prime Minister's landed in Kannur and he was received by Chief Minister Pinarayi Vijayan and Kerala Governor Arif Mohammed Khan. He has started from Kannur Airport to Wayanad in a helicopter. He's accompanied again by Chief Minister and Union Minister Suresh Gopi. He will first take an aerial survey of the landslide site, and following which he will visit the landslide site in Churalmala. And after that, he will be visiting one of the relief camps in Mepadi, the St. Joseph School relief camp, where the major relief camp is running. And following which, he will hold a meeting at the Kalpetta Collectorate with Chief Minister and other officials. And by 3 p.m., he will leave Wayanad, is what we've been told right now. That's the schedule for the day. There's a lot of demands, the state government has put forward, is planning to put forward before the Prime Minister, primarily to declare the Wayanad landslide as a national disaster, and also they will be requesting for a comprehensive package for rehabilitation. So these are the two main priorities that's there in front of the state government as Prime Minister is in the district to, visit the landslide areas.
Right, Shibimol, thank you for sharing all those details with us. And that's a wrap on this bulletin. Up next, India Today Special In Depth.
You are watching India Today.
₹9. ₹9 cannot even buy you a packet of chips, but it can absolutely save your career. You'll ask me how. That is by learning AI tools like ChatGPT and other AI advancements. Hi, my name is Aditya Gachhe and I am an alumni of IIT Kharagpur. In my 3 hours workshop, I'm going to teach you how you can integrate all these latest AI tools in your workflow in order to save at least 90% of your time on a daily basis while you are working. All these things just at ₹9. So click on the link below, register for the workshop. I'll see you inside the workshop.
बहुत बधाई आपको।
धन्यवाद सर।
अपने देश का नाम फिर एक बार रोशन कर दिया
जी।
और पूरा देश, मैं देख रहा था रात को 1 बजे भी करोड़ों लोग आपके तरफ आशा की नजर से देख रहे थे।
बस सर वही है कि जो सबकी उम्मीद थी गोल्ड के लिए, वो कहीं ना कहीं एफर्ट भी लगाया, लेकिन जैसा हमारी बात हुई थी कि सोडियम वो इंजरी वगैरह की वजह से वो पुश जो करना चाहता हूँ वो नहीं कर पाया, उसका थोड़ा सा हो रहा।
क्या किया जाए भाई?
वही डिसीजन लेंगे सर टीम के साथ, लेकिन कंपटीशन जो था वो काफी तगड़ा था और ऐसी सिचुएशन में भी थ्रो करना और मेडल लेके आना कंट्री के लिए, उसकी खुशी है जी।
नहीं, आपने बहुत अच्छा किया है और आपने तो पिछली बार भी मुझे याद है आपने आपके प्रतिस्पर्धी के खेल की तारीफ की थी
जी
और आपने तब भी मुझे कहा था कि उसका मुकाबला बड़ा सचमुच में तगड़ा होता है।
हाँ जी
और इंजरी के बावजूद भी आप ये मैनेज करते हैं। मैं समझता हूँ कि हमारी युवा पीढ़ी को भी बड़ा आश्चर्य होता होगा।
Make your media plan smarter with India Today Live TV on your connected devices. Amplify your brand with 100 million smart internet viewers. To advertise, mail us at sales@aajtak.com.
Mohammad Yunus was received with great enthusiasm as soon as he landed in Dhaka. The country was waiting for him. After months of protest and silent coup that dethroned Sheikh Hasina, the country was burning. The civil society protesting students demanded a caretaker government with Mohammad Yunus at the helm of affairs to be formed, and the president, the army, and political parties nodded in agreement. For the first time in Bangladesh's history, the caretaker government is not headed by a chief justice or the president. It's a Nobel laureate. In fact, internationally, he is the 32nd Nobel laureate to head a state or any government. Students are also a part of Yunus's caretaker government to build a Naya Bangladesh. The 84-year-old Nobel laureate was emotional, as held back tears after landing in Dhaka on 8th August morning. It's been a long, winding journey for the banker of the poor. He was a celebrated pride of the country when he was nominated for the Nobel Peace Prize in 2006. People queued up for a glimpse of him. Just months before the Nobel, he also received the 2006 Seoul Peace Prize. It was his year of celebration of decades of hard work to empower the poor with microcredit. Born in the village of Batua in 1940, in the pre-independence, undivided Bengal presidency, he spent his core educational years in the port city of Chittagong of East Pakistan. Moving from Chittagong, Mohammad Yunus finished graduation and post-graduation in economics from Dhaka University. The bright young Yunus worked briefly for Bureau of Economics before joining Chittagong University's economics department as a faculty. After receiving a Fulbright scholarship to study in the United States in 1965, he got a PhD in economic development from Vanderbilt University in 1971. Those were turbulent days for fight for freedom in his homeland. Yunus ran a communications center for Bangladeshi awaiting news outside the country during the 1971 Mukti Jodho. He also published the Bangladesh newsletter in Nashville to raise support for the movement. After the formation of Bangladesh, he spent a year in the US teaching as an assistant professor in economics at Middle Tennessee State University. In 1972, he returned to head the economics department in Chittagong University. Witnessing the Bangladesh famine of 1974, one of the worst of the 20th century, Yunus started his work towards poverty reduction. First, he came up with the idea of setting up village governments or Gram Sarkar to improve rural economies, but the idea was soon shot down as illegal and unconstitutional. In 1976, during a visit to a village, he realized that often underprivileged people require small non-traditional loans to survive financially and grow their businesses, which led him to come up with the idea of microcredit. This system of microfinance first earned him the moniker banker to the poor. After taking loans from larger banks and redistributing them as microcredit to poor people, in 1983 he finally launched Grameen Bank or Village Bank. By July 2007, Grameen had issued 6.38 billion US dollars to 7.4 million borrowers. The success of the model inspired similar projects in 100 different countries and led to world recognition with the Nobel Peace Prize in 2006. Within 5 years, fingers of accusation started to rise against him. In 2011, Grameen Bank came under the scanner of Sheikh Hasina's government for misused funds, a charge they had been cleared from the Norwegian government. With the bank being investigated, Yunus was removed as head of the bank. He challenged the decision. Mohammed Yunus was 70 years old. The government defended the decision to remove him on grounds of being way past his retirement age. Bangladesh High Court upheld an order removing Yunus as head of the micro-lending bank he founded. His allies believed it was a move prompted by Hasina government's vendetta over his political ambitions. A year after winning the Nobel, Yunus tried to launch a political party. With his growing popularity and influence, he made Hasina insecure when she came to power in 2009. After the 2011 court verdict, 200 Grameen Bank employees and borrowers staged a peaceful protest outside the bank building. Nearly 14 years have passed since then, but Mohammed Yunus still has pending charges in a case alleging food adulteration in a Grameen Bank subsidiary and another alleging misuse of power by Yunus in acting as a creditor for private enterprises. Under Sheikh Hasina's more than 15 years of rule, Mohammed Yunus has faced a total of 174 cases filed against him. But his popularity and acceptance among people never diminished. When students took to streets in Bangladesh protesting against reservation quota in government jobs and Hasina government's mismanagement of the agitation led to violent outbursts, civil society of Bangladesh and students in particular wanted nothing to do with Hasina anymore. They unitedly appealed for Yunus to come back from Europe and take charge of national affairs. On 5th August, once Sheikh Hasina left Dhaka, students became adamant to get Yunus back.
We will not accept any other government other than the one proposed by us. We will not accept the government supported by the military or the fascists. Any proxy government or government against the people will not be accepted. We will form an interim government headed by Nobel laureate Mohammed Yunus. Dr. Mohammed Yunus has also accepted this responsibility to protect the people of Bangladesh. We want to present this proposal to the President in the morning itself to form an interim government under the leadership of Dr. Mohammed Yunus.
He also accepted the request of his agitating country in a statement issued on 7th August. He praised students' protest before boarding the flight home from France. Strife-torn Bangladesh calmed down as soon as he arrived. From loot, arson, violence of 3 days, Dhaka showed signs of limping back to peace on 8th August morning.
The example that the young generation has set of giving this country a rebirth, we are expecting that Yunus will be able to take it further to reconstruct our nation. We want a conflict-free Bangladesh where no Awami League, no BNP and no other political parties can abuse power. I want to forget the past and move on. I earnestly request the new government to put an end to bad politics in the country so the poor working class can live in peace. I want the government to respect the movement of the students against discrimination. We want to create a society without discrimination.
In his first interaction with the press, he tried to calm down the frayed, jittered, and bruised nerves of his people.
The students' movement has saved the country, given rebirth to this country. Our oath to Bangladesh that we got through this rebirth can move forward fast. We want to protect it. Bangladesh is a family. We have to unite it. We want to remove whatever dilemma there is. I want to bring those who have gone astray so that we can work together.
Yunus's interim government is not a first of its kind of experiment for Bangladesh. There have been 4 such interim or caretaker governments in Dhaka.
6th December 1990, military dictator Hussein Mohammad Ershad's government fell due to a mass uprising. An interim or temporary government was formed under then Chief Justice Shahabuddin Ahmed to conduct the 5th general election within 3 months. He was first made vice president and then served as the temporary president. After the 5th parliamentary elections in 1991, in which Begum Khalida Zia became the prime minister, Shahabuddin Ahmed again joined the post of chief justice, from which he eventually retired in the year 1995. In late March 1996, following a sustained campaign of strikes and a non-cooperation movement by her rivals, then Prime Minister Begum Khalida Zia of BNP stepped down. Election date was announced in June and Parliament was dissolved. On 3rd April, a caretaker government headed by former Chief Justice Mohammad Habibur Rahman was sworn in. Final results gave the centrist Awami League lead, but not majority. Sheikh Hasina was sworn in for the first time as the Prime Minister of a coalition government on the 23rd of June. Following the provision for caretaker government through 13th Amendment of the Constitution, the 3rd caretaker government was formed on 15th July 2001, and the former Chief Justice, Justice Latifur Rahman, took over charge as the chief advisor. The caretaker government discharged its prime duty of holding the 8th parliamentary elections on the 1st of October 2001 and continued in office till 10th October 2001, when the newly elected BNP government led by Begum Khalida Zia, assumed state power. 5 years later, there was a great disagreement over the formation of a caretaker government, and violence engulfed the country, including the capital city, Dhaka. In such a volatile situation, the last retired Chief Justice declared his unwillingness to become the chief advisor of the next caretaker government. Subsequently, President Dr. Iyajuddin Ahmed himself took over charge. The date of the 9th parliamentary elections was fixed in January 2007, but apprehensions and doubts on holding of free and fair polls continued unabated. A dialogue on electoral reforms between the two major contending political parties, BNP and the Awami League, failed, which led to massive violence and clashes all over the country. President Iyajuddin Ahmed declared a state of emergency on the 1st of January of 2007, and the proposed elections were cancelled. He then stepped down from the post of chief advisor, and another caretaker government led by Dr. Fakhruddin Ahmed was formed. The new caretaker government declared a roadmap for holding the elections by December 2008 and embarked upon a number of reform measures. Ultimately, on the 29th of December 2008, the 9th parliamentary elections were held and caretaker government of Dr. Fakhruddin Ahmed continued in office till the 3rd of January of 2009, when the Grand Alliance led by Sheikh Hasina assumed power again.
The Hasina government abolished the system of caretaker government through a constitutional amendment on June 30th, 2011. A day after Sheikh Hasina resigned and fled the country, her son reminded Bangladesh of the perils of caretaker governments.
They now want to overturn this government. But have you thought of what will happen next once this government is removed? We want to preserve the democracy of our country. The only constitutional way to pave way for new government to form is through election. Supreme Court has announced that no government can rule which has not got the electoral mandate. Even if we agree to this demand for fresh election, will that be the end of it? Despite accepting all the demands, they keep raising more. They might not accept the election results. I know the civil society is mulling over interim government concept. Let's not forget the perils of past interim governments.
Within days, the president, along with the army, announced the release of BNP leader Begum Khalida Zia. Ailing 79-year-old Begum Khalida Zia addressed to supporters from a hospital bed at a rally in Dhaka on 7th August. It was her first public speech since 2018, when she was convicted of corruption charges and jailed.
Let us strengthen the hands of the youth to build Bangladesh. Let's build a society based on love, peace, and knowledge, and there should be no destruction, not revenge and vengeance.
Shanti o gyan bhittik samaj gore tuli.
Her son Tariq Rahman, the acting chairman of the BNP living in exile, called for elections to be held at the earliest.
So to achieve the goals of this revolution, national elections must be held as soon as possible. Power must be transferred to the representatives elected by the people as soon as possible.
জনগণের ভোটে নির্বাচিত প্রতিনিধিদের কাছে ক্ষমতা হস্তান্তর করতে হবে।
BNP supporters rejoiced and hoped for return to power as Awami League of Sheikh Hasina have fallen out of favor with the mass of Bangladesh.
জনাব তারেক রহমান আগামীর বাংলাদেশ বিনির্মাণে
Tariq Rahman will come and build a future nation and democratic Bangladesh. How to do it? He directed us about that.
শক্তিকে নিয়ে ঐক্যবদ্ধভাবে কিভাবে কাজ করা যায়।
ম্যাডাম মুক্ত হয়েছেন, এটা হচ্ছে আমাদের আজকে দিনের সবচেয়ে বড় খুশির খবর।
She talked to us on Skype today. You saw. Our chairperson also spoke to us today. He will return soon among us. We have been waiting for 17 years for him.
উনি নিশ্চয়ই খুব শীঘ্রই আমাদের মধ্যে ফিরে আসবেন।
Within hours, Awami League changed its tone, and Sheikh Hasina's son from the US now showed willingness to return to the politics of Bangladesh.
I had said my family will no longer be involved in politics. But the way our party leaders and workers are being attacked, we cannot give up.
In days of violence, nearly 400 have died. Houses have been vandalized. Sheikh Mujibur Rahman's statue and his home were both destroyed. Mural paintings of Bangabandhu were whitewashed. The newly formed interim government under the leadership of Muhammad Yunus has its hands full, and hopes and expectations are high, because there are many firsts in this interim government. For the first time, the agitating students are part of this government. Nahid Islam and Asif Mahmood, both in their mid-20s, are part of a 17-member caretaker government. 26-year-old Nahid Islam was the coordinator of the student movement against quotas in government jobs that morphed into an Oust Hasina campaign. When the protests turned deadly, he was detained by the police. On the first morning after taking charge, Muhammad Yunus, flanked by the two student leaders on either side, laid wreaths at the country's National Martyrs Memorial. The memorial was built to honor and remember those who died during Bangladesh's liberation war in 1971. This was the first healing touch for the country that was convulsed by weeks of violence. The coming days are going to be severely challenged for Naya Bangladesh. Muhammad Yunus hopes to build that the students dreamt of and the country needs badly.
ಅವನು ಏನಂತ ತಿಳ್ಕೊಂಡಿದ್ದಾನೆ? ನನ್ನ ಮಗನಿಗೆ ಹೇಗೆ ಈ ರೀತಿ ಮಾಡ್ತಾನೆ ಅವನು?
ಫ್ಲೋರಿಂಗ್ ಎಷ್ಟು ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿದೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಎಲ್ಲರೂ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ.
ವಾವ್, ಎಷ್ಟು ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿದೆ ಅಲ್ವಾ?
ಎಸ್, ನನಗೆ ಅದನ್ನೇ ನೋಡ್ತಾ ಇರ್ಬೇಕು ಅನಿಸ್ತಾ ಇದೆ.
ಮೈ ಟೈಲ್ಸ್, ಎಲ್ಲರೂ ವಾವ್ ಹೇಳುವಂತೆ ಮಾಡುವ ಟೈಲ್ಸ್.
Minorities in Bangladesh. Pia Srijesh to be joint flag bearer with Manu Bhakar at closing ceremony of Paris Olympics. Centre announces JPC on new Waqf board bill. Weather forecast now. Delhi, maximum 34 and minimum 27 degrees. Mumbai, maximum 28 and minimum 26 degrees. Kolkata, maximum 33 and minimum 27 degrees. Bangalore, maximum 28 and minimum 22 degrees. Chennai, maximum 33 and minimum 26 degrees. Hyderabad, maximum 32 and minimum 23 degrees.
Came around to say hello. One, I'm so fly. You took a nosedive. Careful when you play on my level. For you, it's so. Hey, hello.
Motorola Razr 50 Ultra. Flip the script.
Hello, Moto.
Weather forecast now. Delhi, maximum 34 and minimum 27 degrees. Mumbai, maximum 28 and minimum 26 degrees. Kolkata, maximum 33 and minimum 27 degrees. Bangalore, maximum 28 and minimum 22 degrees. Chennai, maximum 33 and minimum 26 degrees. Hyderabad, maximum 32 and minimum 23 degrees.
Make your media plan smarter with India Today Live TV on your connected devices. Amplify your brand with 100 million smart internet viewers. To advertise, mail us at sales@aajtak.com.
You are watching India Today.
Hello and welcome. You're watching India Today and I'm Chetna Vasudevan. A look at the headlines first. Rape and murder horror in Kolkata. Junior doctor raped and murdered inside hospital. Private parts bleeding, neck broken, injuries in lips. BJP attacks Mamata government for lawlessness. Prime Minister Modi to visit landslide hit Wayanad today and take stock of relief operations. Prime Minister to visit severely affected Churalmala and Mundakai villages and relief camps in Wayanad. Prime Minister may also meet Kerala Chief Minister Pinarayi Vijayan. Bangladesh remains on the edge as violence against minorities rises. Hindus in Bangladesh hit the streets. Protest over persecution of minorities. Interim government assures India of immediate action to curb the violence. "21-year-old Aman Sehrawat becomes the youngest Indian to win a medal in the Olympics. He bags bronze in the 57 kg category. Dinesh Phogat makes virtual appearance in the hearing before the Court of Arbitration of Sports that lasted for nearly 3 hours. IOA releases a statement, says it's hopeful of a positive resolution. Plane crashes in Brazil, all 62 on board killed. Terrifying video shows plane spinning out of control, descending vertically.
Porra! Caralho, bicho! Nossa! Doido.
We have some breaking news coming in. BJP has attacked the Mamata government over Kolkata rape and murder horror. The Mamata government forms a probe panel. BJP trains guns. The BJP says 2 interns in Mamata government's probe panel. They also say, looking at the composition of the inquiry committee, it is clear that the investigation will be a complete sham, leading to miscarriage of justice. The BJP also says the dark shadow of Mamata Banerjee's hand can be seen all over. That's the latest breaking news we have coming in from Kolkata. The BJP has trained guns on the Mamata government over the horrific rape and murder that's happened in Kolkata. Mamata government has formed a probe panel and the BJP has trained guns on the Mamata government, saying 2 interns are part of the Mamata government's probe panel. They say, looking at the composition of the inquiry committee, it is clear that the investigation will be a complete sham, leading to a miscarriage of justice. The BJP also says the dark shadow of Mamata Banerjee's hand can be seen all over. This, of course, pertains to the murder that took place in Calcutta in the wee hours of the night, where a trainee doctor was allegedly sexually assaulted and strangulated. And her body was found in a seminar hall in the morning in a hospital. Anirban Roy is joining us live on the broadcast. The fact the murder took place in the wee hours of the night within the hospital premises is quite shocking.
Well, you can see the 24 hours has passed by. One has been detained, and the shocking incident that has happened in RG Medical College Hospital is the PG second-year student, also a junior doctor, who was allegedly murdered and been harassed by some people, and that has been already, the case has been registered, the murder case has been registered. But right now, you can see the doctors, the junior, the senior, every doctors right now in Kolkata of every hospital are protesting against this. Right now, we can see behind me that they are all the doctors, those who are giving the break in their work, and right now they are demanding justice for the woman doctor who has already allegedly murdered, and that's why they were protesting. We can see in the live visuals that they have been, they are already given the posters that were written there that they want the justice for that doctor. I will talk to them. I will try to talk to them. That already we have seen that one people has been detained, and right now, are you all feeling safe in Kolkata and in your workplaces?
Let the judicial proceedings proceed as they would, but we as a community are feeling very, very unsafe because the hospital security is not yet improved. Our seminar duty rooms, they are non-existent technically. We do not have proper functioning washrooms. So just capturing or arresting one person does not make all that go away. That is still there, and that is still something we need to take care of, and the administration should look into it and find some solution to this, because this cannot go on. What happened yesterday was unbelievable and unacceptable, and we need someone to take
Do you think that the investigation that is going on is free and fair? And right now, do you have faith in Kolkata police as well as in the West Bengal government?
We do have faith in Kolkata police and the government, and we hope justice will prevail. Regarding the investigation, I am not there. I'm not in ground zero. I cannot comment on whatever is going on there. But we just hope that our faith in Kolkata police, since it's there and since it's we have a deep sense of faith in them, I hope that they also help us reach justice that we want. That's it.
I can see that the emotions are running very high, and right now the lady doctors, those who are protesting here, are all because they are scared of the incident, because what has happened in the Ajikor hospital itself, in the Kolkata, in the city of joy. In the heart of the city, the Ajikor hospital, that the incident has happened. And after that, everyone is very scared. The doctors are saying that they are scared to go in the workplaces, and they are not feeling safe right now in their workplaces. Over to you.
Right, we'll come back to you for more on this. Adhir Ranjan Chaudhary is joining us on the broadcast. So the fact that the murder has taken place within the hospital premises, it obviously raises some questions against the law and order situation in Bengal, and first and foremost the security of women in Bengal.
The gruesome incident which had occurred in the Medical College of Kolkata, where a girl student had been outrageously raped and murdered, is nothing but a glaring example of a deteriorating law and order situation prevailing in West Bengal. It is being amply vindicated that our allegations against the present incumbent in Bengal in regard to the law and order situation has been further vindicated by this kind of gruesome incident. I will appeal to Chief Minister of West Bengal not to be posed indifferent to this kind of heinous crime by arguing that I am doing something positive, I will take care of the family, etc., etc. Today, the incident took place in Medical College. Can you imagine that what is being happened in the remote areas of the state of West Bengal? It is not an isolated incident. It is a serial incidence of crimes which involve the criminals, gangsters, and other nefarious elements in our society. Government has to take stringent measures and to restore the confidence of the people of West Bengal as immediately as possible.
Right, sir. Thank you. Thank you for speaking to India Today. I'm going to go back to my colleague Anirban Roy, who's tracking the story. Anirban, have the hospital authorities responded to the protests of the students that are demanding, justice for the student who got murdered? Like that such a glaring lapse was committed, and the murder took place inside the hospital premises itself.
Well, the murder has already, we heard of that the murder has happened inside the hospital premises. The body has been found from the seminar hall in the hospital premises. And after that, the Kolkata police is investigating the matter. The Kolkata police has already detained one. And after they were saying that more people will be coming out after the investigation, as the autopsy report has already already arrived, and after that we can see that the murder case has been already filed by the Kolkata police, has been registered by the Kolkata police as well, and the hospital authority is taking preventive measure after that, as they have said. But right now, the people, the doctors, those who are working inside the hospital premises, they are saying that they are not feeling safe, that there is no adequate CCTV arrangements in all the corridors of the hospital. They are alleging, and right now they are very scared of the situation as that has happened inside the hospital premises, as the lady doctors, the women doctors, they are saying that they are not feeling safe right now inside their workplace.
Right. Thank you, Anirban, for giving us all those details. Horrific incident of a PG trainee doctor at Kolkata's government-run RG Kar Hospital raped and killed has shocked the nation. There is massive outrage over the death of a 31-year-old trainee doctor. Students took to protest, demanding strictest action in the case. One person has also been detained in the case. Details from the initial autopsy report reveals the horror. According to the 4-page report, there was bleeding from the victim's eyes and mouth. There were injuries all over her face and nail. The victim was also bleeding from her private parts. The victim also had injuries in her belly, left leg, neck, right hand, right finger, ring finger, and lips. Reports suggest the victim was first strangulated and then smothered to death. One person has been detained in the case so far in the probe by the SIT. Meanwhile, students led a massive protest demanding the strictest action in the case. The BJP also protested, saying the law and order has completely collapsed in Bengal under Mamta's rule.
আমরা সুবিচার চাই, সুবিচার চাই। তা আমার মেয়েকে আমাদের সন্দেহ ধর্ষণ করে খুন করা হয়েছে। সব রকম হোক, যাই হবে ন্যায় বিচার হোক। কি হবে কি হবে না এখন এই সমস্ত আমরা বলতে পারছি না। মেয়েকে তো আর খুঁজে পাবে না, যাই গেছে আমাকে আমার যা গেছে সে কেউ দেবে না। সুতরাং এই ব্যাপার নিয়ে আমি আর কোনো কথা বলবো না। সেটা তখন পুলিশ খুব বাজে ব্যবহার করেছে, আমাদের গাড়িটাকে মেরে আবার গাড়িটা আমার ছেলে ঠেলে আমাদের গাড়ি পার করছে।
যে গোটা পশ্চিমবঙ্গ দুষ্কৃতীদের দখলে চলে গেছে, ফলে এখনই যে ঘটনা পড়েন ওই ঘটনা ঘটার পর যা কিছু ঘটে চলেছে প্রশাসনের পক্ষ থেকে, আমাদের মনে হচ্ছে কোনো না কোনো ভাবে যে একে ধামাচাপা দেওয়ার একটা প্রচেষ্টা, এটাকে আত্মহত্যা বলার একটা প্রচেষ্টা, অথচ মানে সত্যিকারের তদন্ত করে সেই তদন্তে দোষীদের শাস্তি দেওয়ার কোনো উদ্যোগ প্রশাসনের আছে বলে আমাদের মনে হচ্ছে না।
देखिए मैडम, ये जो इंसिडेंट हुआ है आर्जीकर में, ये अत्यंत दुखजनक है। ये लड़की मेरा लड़की जैसी है। इसके साथ हुआ क्या वो तो पोस्टमार्टम रिपोर्ट के बाद ही पता चलेगी, लेकिन ये बोल सकता हूँ एज ए प्रिंसिपल, एज ए हेड ऑफ द इंस्टीट्यूशन, आई हैव टेकन ऑल नेसेसरी स्टेप्स रिगार्डिंग इंक्वायरी एंड एवरीथिंग इज डूइंग प्रॉपरली। एज ए प्रिंसिपल आई वांट the report should come as first and the culprit should get punished. This much I can say.
शाम के वक्त के बाद आप पोस्टमार्टम नहीं कर सकते, लेकिन यहाँ पर इन लोग पोस्टमार्टम कर रहे हैं, ये हमको सुनने में आ रहा है। हम लोग चाहते हैं कि परिवार ये बोले कि वो प्रिजर्व करे बॉडी, और कल हम लोग केंद्रीय सरकार के कोई अस्पताल से पोस्टमार्टम करेंगे, क्योंकि यहाँ का ये सरकार का स्टेट सिस्टम से अगर पोस्टमार्टम हो तो जो सच्चाई है वो फिर से दब जाएगा, ये हमारा पूरा विश्वास है।
We're going to slip into a short break. Coming up on the other side, Bangladesh remains on the edge as violence against minorities rises. Hindus in Bangladesh hit the streets, protest over persecution of minorities.
On others, burning house.
You are watching India Today.
उनको ये बोला गया कि उनको अपना पासपोर्ट सरेंडर करना है, उनको ये बोला गया कि हर मंडे जाकर उनको पुलिस के समक्ष पेश होना है। हाँ, इतना जरूर कहूंगी कि जब 17 महीने कैद में हो जाते हैं तो बेल मिलना बहुत स्वाभाविक बात है। इसका अर्थ कतई ही नहीं है कि वो अपराध मुक्त हैं।
भारतीय जनता पार्टी न्यायालय के निर्णय का हमेशा सम्मान करती है, लेकिन आज आम आदमी पार्टी के जो नेता सत्यमेव जयते लिख रहे हैं, जरा पिछले हफ्ते के माननीय सुप्रीम कोर्ट के निर्णय के बाद अपने किए हुए वक्तव्य को पढ़ ले। कैसी बौखलाहट थी। लेकिन हम ये जानते हैं कि शराब नीति घोटाले में मनीष सिसोदिया को बेल मिली है, और किसी भी अपराधी को बेल मिलना वो अपराध मुक्त होना नहीं होता है। जांच अभी चल रही है, साक्ष्य कोर्ट के सामने आएंगे। अरविंद केजरीवाल हो, मनीष सिसोदिया हो या बाकी लोग हो, इन सब ने शराब नीति घोटाले में कमीशन खाई है, दलाली खाई है, और ये फैसला जनता की अदालत में सबके सामने होगा।
Numbers reflect this disturbance in our sleeping habits. According to a 2019 study conducted by US-based Fitbit across 18 countries, Indians are the second most sleep-deprived globally. A more recent 2024 survey by social media platform Local Circles of 41,000 individuals over 309 districts over a period of 12 months reveals just how much sleep debt we have. 61% reported sleeping fewer than 6 hours, a 6% rise from the survey done for 2022-2023. The most common sleep disorder is insomnia, reduced quality and quantity of sleep, which 30 to 40% of the population experience at some point in life, of which about 10% can turn into chronic insomnia. Other than that, about 10% develop parasomnia, which is basically some abnormal experience or behavior during sleep, like sleep talking, sleepwalking, nightmares, night terrors. Some patients, around 10% of them, have circadian rhythm disorders, which is a mismatch between your physiological schedule required and your sleep patterns. About 2 to 4% have obstructive sleep apnea, a respiratory condition characterized by snoring, breathing difficulties, and poor quality sleep. And there are a few rare conditions like narcolepsy, which makes people drowsy in the day, or hyperinsomnia, excessive sleepiness. What then is the impact of sleep debt? According to a cross-country comparative analysis done in 2017 and published in the journal Rand Health Quarterly, the US experiences the highest economic losses due to sleep deficiency of up to about $411 billion a year. On an annual basis, the US loses an equivalent of about 1.23 million working days due to insufficient sleep. Well, there has been no study done here in India to estimate a similar figure, but experts say the US figures are enough to demonstrate that sleep is essential not just for individuals, but also for workplaces, for society, for development.
You are watching India Today.
Bangladesh remains on the edge as violence against minorities rises. Several Hindus in Dhaka took to the streets in a massive outrage over the persecution of minorities. The Hindus are demanding protection against the attacks. Hindu community has sought 10% seats in the parliament for them and a dedicated minority ministry. Desperate Hindu citizens in Bangladesh were seen at the India-Bangladesh border near Cooch Behar in West Bengal. India has ramped up BSF deployment to beef up border security. Meanwhile, India has raised concerns over the attacks. The interim government has assured India that immediate action will be taken to curb the violence.
Our Supreme Court has ruled, and our Constitution says that a non-elected government cannot run a country, even for 1 minute. Right now, this is an unconstitutional government. They are not elected. So there is no democracy in Bangladesh. So they are talking about democracy, but there is no democracy. So what do you have to do if you want to have democracy? You have to have elections. And our Constitution is very clear on this provision that from the day Parliament is dissolved, new elections have to be held within 90 days. There is no way around it. No, there is no such thing as an interim government in the Constitution which can stay in power beyond 90 days.
I have gotten a lot of reports on the atrocities in Bangladesh. The attacks on the minority Hindus is totally unacceptable. I am in touch with the State Department and authorities across the world. I am on top of it, and we will not stop until all of these things is addressed. We need justice for the minority Hindus and all these heartbreaking activities. This has to stop.
I'm being joined by my colleague Ashutosh Mishra, who's tracking the story live from Dhaka. Ashutosh, Prime Minister Modi had called for the protection of minorities in Bangladesh. Back when Mohammad Yunus took charge of the interim government in Bangladesh. Do you think anything has been done in that regard?
Well, for last at least 48 hours, not major reports are coming with regards to the atrocities and the violence on the Hindu minority. But it all has happened already in the first 72 hours when the violence broke out, when the police started charging, and there was literally, violence all over, the escalation between the government forces and the the protesting students, civil society members, all others. But one side there was a protest happening, and the other side, the miscreants and the extremist group of Bangladesh, they started targeting the minorities. So more than 27 districts where the temples were attacked, the properties of Hindu minorities were targeted, the people were targeted. And in fact, since morning, as I've been speaking, let's also get you one live images from Dhaka. India Today is reporting from ground zero. This will explain you the furious situation of the capital city, Dhaka. Virtually, if I say, this is one country perhaps across the globe, there is virtually no existence of a police force. Yes, not a single police personnel I can find out on these streets. All you see, these people are managing the situation. You say the law and order, or you say the traffic. They all are volunteers. The college students, the scouts, the BMCC, and all the such groups. And remember, they were one who started the protest against the Sheikh Hasina government. And all of a sudden, when it all turned literally volatile, violent protests, when police started firing upon, that turned situation extremely vulnerable. And that was the only opportunity. Now, the other side, you see all these, the students, civil society members, they all are camping literally at different points, managing the different situation. But all of a sudden, when the miscreants started attacking those minorities, that made things leery. But at the same time, those who are guarding now the city have been also saying that ever since we started seeing SOS call from them, we started protecting their temple, we started protecting the minority. But eventually, those attacks did happen, the people did affect, and that was a huge number. If I say 27 districts of this country, or so
For
small a
more
country,
on this, we have live shots of Prime Minister Modi conducting aerial surveys in Wayanad. Right, Prime Minister Modi earlier landed in Kannur, and now he's going to conduct an aerial survey in the landslide hit areas in Wayanad. Wayanad, which saw one of the worst landslides that Kerala has seen, in which over 400 people have died. About 500 people have still been rescued, and 140 people still remain missing. So Prime Minister Modi on his way to conduct the aerial survey. He's also going to visit relief camps later in the day and hospitals where more people, survivors, are lodged. He's going to meet the victims and the survivors of the landslide, and later in the day he is going to chair a review meeting during which he will be briefed in detail about the incident and the ongoing relief efforts. We must remember that the Kerala government has repeatedly asked for the landslides to be considered a national disaster, to be able to pool in more funds for relief operations in Wayanad. These are shots that you see of Prime Minister Modi conducting the aerial survey of the landslide hit areas in Wayanad.
നീല ജാക്കറ്റ് ധരിച്ച് പ്രധാനമന്ത്രി അവിടെ നിന്ന് വരുന്നുണ്ട് പുറത്തേക്ക്. അവിടെയുള്ള ഉദ്യോഗസ്ഥരെ കൈവിട്ട് പ്രധാനമന്ത്രി മുന്നോട്ട് കടന്നു വരുന്നുണ്ട്.
We see Prime Minister Modi is yet to conduct the aerial survey of the landslide hit areas in Wayanad. About 500 people have been rescued, over 400 have been killed, over 1,000 displaced, and 140 people are still missing. And there's a 1,700 strong rescue team that's still combing the region for any survivors.
നീല ജാക്കറ്റ് ധരിച്ച് പ്രധാനമന്ത്രി അവിടെ നിന്ന് വരുന്നുണ്ട് പുറത്തേക്ക്. അവിടെയുള്ള ഉദ്യോഗസ്ഥരെ.
We have Shilpa Nair joining us on the phone line. Shilpa, give us more details of what the Prime Minister is going to be doing, after the aerial survey. What is he going to be doing? What does he have on the cards?
Well, yes, just a short while back, the Prime Minister undertook an aerial survey of the landslide hit Wayanad, the areas that have been affected by this particular landslide. And his chopper, after the aerial survey, has just landed at Calcutta. He was accompanied by Kerala Chief Minister Pinarayi Vijayan, and also Kerala Governor Arif Mohammed Khan. Several other officials also were part of that team that undertook the aerial survey. And now that the Prime Minister has landed at Calcutta, what we're given to understand is that he will be making his way towards Chudalmala via road. And Chudalmala is also the place where the landslide created maximum impact. And this is also the place where the Indian Army had, of course, built the Bailey Bridge. So we are given to understand that the Prime Minister will be visiting this area, the Chudalmala area, and he'll be interacting with or also the rescue personnel, the search and rescue personnel there who've been engaged in very, very challenging work since day one of this landslide. So he's expected to go there to Chudalmala, and after which he will also be going to one of the relief camps here in Mepadi, Wayanad, where the survivors of the landslide are currently camping. And after that, he will be going to the WIMS hospital, where some of these injured persons are undergoing treatment. And later on, of course, we are given to understand that the Prime Minister will hold a review meeting with officials to take stock of the situation. And the Prime Minister's visit assumes a lot of significance because all eyes are on the center really at this point in time, because to help the victims and the survivors of this landslide, it takes the cooperation of the center and the state. It takes a coordinated effort, and that's the reason why all eyes are on the Prime Minister's visit. What will be the kind of financial compensation and rehabilitation package that would be announced by the center? That is going to be very, very important. And before the Prime Minister's visit, a central team comprising of officials from different ministries had visited landslide hit Wayanad. They interacted with the survivors, they interacted with the local officials here to assess the situation, to assess the magnitude of this disaster. And the timing of the central team's visit also gives us a hint
Shilpa,
that
keep tracking
possibly
that story. We'll come back to you for
over,
more on this. And with that, it's a wrap on this bulletin. For more news and updates, you can log on to indiatoday.in. You can also download the India Today app. Thank you for watching.
You are watching India Today.
ರೆಸ್ಪಾನ್ಸಿಬಲ್ ಜ್ಯುವೆಲರ್ ಆಗಿ ಮಲಬಾರ್ನಲ್ಲಿ ನಮಗೆ ಪ್ರತಿ ಶುಭ ದಿನವೂ ಅಮೂಲ್ಯ. ಈ ಕ್ಷಣದ ನೆನಪನ್ನು ಸ್ಮರಣೀಯವಾಗಿಸಲು ಮತ್ತು ನಮ್ಮ ಸಂಸ್ಕೃತಿಯ ಭಾಗವಾಗಲು ನಾವು ಚಿನ್ನ ಆಭರಣಗಳನ್ನು ತಯಾರಿಸುತ್ತೇವೆ. ನಮ್ಮ ಸ್ವರ್ಣ ಸಂಸ್ಕೃತಿ, ನಮ್ಮ ಮಲಬಾರ್.
ಸೂಪರ್ ಚಾಯ್ಸ್ ಮೇಡಮ್. ಅರೆ ಇದರಿಂದ ಚಾರ್ಜ್ ಕೂಡ ಮಾಡಬಹುದಾ? ಇದು ಇದೆ, ಅದು ಇದೆ, USB ಕೂಡ. ಅರೆ ಇದ್ರಲ್ಲಿ ಡಿಸ್ಕ್ ಬ್ರೇಕ್ ಕೂಡ ಇದೆ. ನಿಜವಾಗ್ಲೂ ಸ್ಟಾರ್.
ಹಾಯ್.
ಸೂಪರ್ ಚಾಯ್ಸ್ ಮೇಡಮ್. ಸರ್ದು
ಬೆಸ್ಟ್ ಇನ್ ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ ಪರ್ಫಾರ್ಮೆನ್ಸ್ ಪ್ಲಸ್ ನಿಮಗೆ ಇಷ್ಟವಾದ ಸ್ಮಾರ್ಟ್ ಫೀಚರ್ಸ್. TVS Star City Plus.
ಇದು ಸ್ಟಾರ್ ಅಲ್ಲ, ಸೂಪರ್ ಸ್ಟಾರ್.
मंदिरों में तो उस पर कोई कार्रवाई की जाए और हमारे हिंदू भाई बहन जो वहाँ पे प्रताड़ित हैं उनके लिए किसी तरीके की सुविधा दी जाए, जहाँ वो अगर देश आना चाहें देश में आए, या वहाँ पर किसी हर तरीके से उनका बचाव हो.
सरकार को इनसे बात करनी चाहिए और कड़ाई सख्ती के साथ इससे बात करनी चाहिए कि वहाँ कोई भी वहाँ पे हिंदू परिवार या हिंदू कोई भी मंदिर के साथ कोई भी तोड़फोड़ ना हो और सख्ती के साथ कार्रवाई होनी चाहिए. ये प्रधानमंत्री से बात करनी चाहिए. एक भी व्यक्ति या हमारे वहाँ जानहानि ना हो, वहाँ एक भी धार्मिक स्थल पर कोई भी तोड़फोड़ ना हो. पूरी सख्ती और ताकत के साथ प्रधानमंत्री जी को उसका विरोध करना चाहिए.
On your favorite technology show this week, the battle of the foldables. Back to the future with an EV, and then to the present with the new Tata Curve. A special conversation as well, AI and what to expect from the mega Google event next week. I'm your host Ayush Alavadi, and this is Tech Today. Tata Curve EV, an electric vehicle we've been waiting for a very long time here on Tech Today. In fact, tech and auto enthusiasts have been waiting for this launch. We're at the grand launch event in Mumbai, the Tata Curve EV, and of course the ICE counterpart as well. But the focus is of course on this very futuristic looking coupe. We're going to tell you more about this car, and then there's a very special conversation on Tech Today as well. Stay tuned.
This is the Tata Curve EV, the new coupe from Tata Motors. Of course, it also comes with an ICE counterpart. But because the price has been revealed for the EV, let's start with this one. The Tata Curve has a plethora of tech built in to the vehicle. It comes with a panoramic sunroof, a floating 12.3-inch touchscreen with wireless CarPlay and Android Auto, and a 10.25-inch driver display. It also comes with ventilated seats in the front for the driver and passenger, a big relief, especially after the scorching summers we've had here in India. For audiophiles, there's a 320-watt JBL sound system and a bunch of connected tech as well. It's interesting to see that Tata Motors offers a hands-free tailgate with the Tata Curve, and in terms of automation, it comes with level 2 ADAS features. Now, the biggest question with EVs is always about range. Now, the company claims up to 585 kilometers of range in the bigger 55 kilowatt-hour battery variant. But of course, in the real world, that would translate to something closer to 400 kilometers and a little more. 0 to 100 kilometers per hour in the Tata Curve EV in 8.5 seconds. And all of this at a starting price of 17.49 lakh rupees. The new Tata Curve EV. It's a historic day for all of us tech and auto enthusiasts here in India because I am sat beside one of the biggest launches of 2024 here in India, the Tata Curve. This is the electric vehicle, and I'm joined by a very special guest, Shailesh Chandra of Tata Motors. Shailesh, what a pleasure to have you on Tech Today. Shailesh, it is a historic launch for Tata, for what we are doing here in India, and for tech and auto enthusiasts. But the focus on the EV, and I know the price being the real elephant in the room, we were waiting anxiously, but that can really prove to be a game changer in the segment, Shailesh.
Yeah, absolutely, you're right. This is one of the much-awaited launch, for the country as well as for us. It was very special, given that in the SUV segment, if you really see the history of Tata Motors, we have been the pioneers of bringing different kind of SUVs. Starting from in the early 90s, we had the Sierra, which was quite ahead of its time. We introduced the lifestyle SUV in the country also through the introduction of Safari. Even Nexon and Punch were the game changers in their respective segment, and they created a segment. So it was important then that when we are entering the mid SUV segment, we come with not something which is me too. We wanted to come with something which is clutter breaking in a very congested segment, which has now grown to a size which gives option of further fragmenting this segment with experimenting with new body styles and all. So what we saw is that coupe as a body style was becoming very popular globally, especially today in global premium SUVs. If you see, typically you have a coupe, right, in that segment. Therefore, we thought, let's democratize the concept of SUV coupe, which is globally growing, and bring in India and experiment in a segment which is the fastest growing segment. That was the thought behind the Curve. And of course, EV has been a journey for us in the last 5 years, and we have been working on overcoming multiple barriers: price, range, charging infra, etc., giving wider range of portfolio choices to the customers. This is a big one for us because this is the product which actually brings EVs on parity with the ICE automatic cars. And therefore, it is a very momentous occasion for us, having achieved that kind of a milestone in our journey. And I'm sure that customers are going to really like the overall value proposition, including price and very high-tech features and the lovely body style that you have. So we hope that this product is going to really do well for us.
Features and price being one element, Shailesh, another key element, especially for millennials and Gen Z, happens to be range anxiety when you're talking about EVs. I know from the keynote that seems to be something that the Tata Motors team has been working on very closely. How much of a focus did the team have on something like range anxiety? Because when you're talking about an EV and parity with ICE counterparts, I think that becomes the key question.
You're absolutely right. See, we always knew that it is the 400-kilometer hurdle that you need to cross to really take care of the range anxiety that exists. And that had been always the obsession for us, how we can give a real range which is 400, 450 kilometers, because 85% of the intercity drive in the country is less than 400 kilometers. So if you really cross this barrier, then we will be able to really take care of the range anxiety. We will also take care of the issues on charging infra side, which is not growing to the extent that it should grow basis the EV adoption which is happening in the country. That was always an obsession, but we could not deliver that because you had to keep your prices closer to the ICE.
Right.
And the battery prices at that point in time were so high that you could only give low range vehicle to be in the ballpark of where the ICE counterparts were. But now you have seen in the last 1.5 years, the battery prices have sharply come down by 50%. And that has really helped us in further doing localization, re-engineering of the battery pack to bring down the cost to a level that we are able to deliver, 45, 55 kilowatt hour battery pack at a price parity. So I think this has been a journey. It has been obsession of our engineers and people which have really helped us achieve this milestone.
When we look at the global market for electric vehicles, Shailesh, it's interesting because there was a lot of buzz about EVs, but it has slowed down globally. We see a different trend here in India, and we see a lot of manufacturers really pushing for EVs. Do you think that the tides are going to turn, and really India would be the bastion of where that actually happens? Also, given the fact that we have a lot of manufacturing happening here in India, innovation happening here in India, could we also perhaps be more influential in turning the tables when it comes to EV trends and mass adoption?
1 year back, if you would have asked this question, the EVs were growing at 60%, 70%. In India also, it was growing in double, 2 times, factor of 2 times and on. Recently, there have been different reasons in different parts of the world why things slowed down. In Europe, if you see, it slowed down because an incentive or subsidy was removed by Germany. Similarly, in China, you had seen the subsidy going down. And therefore, every region has its own reason why it is. Yes. One thing which is not ever debated is that eventual technology in auto industry is a BEV. Nobody is even talking about that there is any conflict. There are technologies in the intermediate which is always under discussion, but I believe that what you have seen is because of regional, different factors are behind the slowdown of EVs. In India, it is because of the larger retail stress that you're seeing in the industry, and EV is a part of it. But one big factor in India why it has gone down is because of discontinuation of, I would not say that's the wrong word, expiry of the FAME 2 incentive, right, which led to a significant pre-buy in Q4 for fleet segment. And now there is an expectation of FAME 3 coming in, so there is postponement now. So this is a phase where there's a drastic fall in the demand for fleet segment. So therefore, short-term pressures are for certain reasons. Long-term trend is known that it is EV. And therefore, in long term, EV is going to grow very fast. It is a matter of now when it will start growing very fast.
As a last question, Shailesh, I just want to understand the general trend of the auto sector. Now, we are big tech geeks here on Tech Today, and honestly, the way we cover technology, we think that auto and tech, the two sectors are merging very, very closely. Now, is it globally the Elon Musk effect, or is it that Gen Z and millennials really think that tech is the differentiating factor when they are making such an informed purchase decision? How do you see it as an expert, a veteran in the space, and also leading one of the top automotive companies in the world?
I clearly see that that expectation and the direction in which the auto industry is going is pretty much aligned, because cars are nothing but mobile on wheels now, right? And therefore, if you really see, every element, every subsystem is software triggered. It is software derived, software defined. And therefore, as you see in the mobile phone, every feature is software defined, right? And therefore, there is a greater trend of cars now moving fast towards software defined vehicles. Essentially, it means that your electrical architecture is going to align to that, which means that today, if you buy a car with certain set of features, it is not that if you want to access the new features, you'll have to really go for a new upgrade. Like in mobile phone and other gadgets, you have the possibility of getting your features updated on the go as you are owning in the ownership period. I think that's the world we are going to see in the auto industry of software-defined vehicles, which is not like 5 years, 10 years away from now. It's just a year or 2 years away from us now. And therefore, a lot of architectural shift in auto industry is happening towards software-defined vehicles, where features will be, transferred over the air, FOTA and all what we are saying. You can keep purchasing the features as and when you go. So that world is this is very much now becoming a tech product rather than the automotive which we had studied in our college as mechanical engineers. It's a software, more or less.
It's what a pleasure to have you on the show.
Most welcome. It was a pleasure.
We're getting into the heart of launch season when it comes to technology products. Techtember is coming, but Google's doing things a little differently. They're launching their flagship Pixel devices at a Made by Google event at HQ, which we'll be covering from ground zero next week. Now, what can you expect from this Made by Google event? Well, a little birdie tells us that there will be new Pixel devices, a Pixel Fold. A lot of these things will be coming here to India, and there is a huge India focus. But there's Pixel devices. The first ones that came in 2016 They came in October 2016. Now we are getting devices in August itself. So there's a lot to cheer about. But there's also the latest in Android and AI, all of that and a lot more. But first, we're going to give you a special report on what to expect from the big Google event.
The new Google Pixel phones is coming in just a few days' time, as the Made by Google event is happening on the 13th of August. So normally this launch happens in October, but Google has now moved it up to August, much to the delight of Pixel lovers. As we inch closer to that grand event, the launch of Pixel 9 series of devices, Google has already revealed some of its cards here. But here's everything you really need to know and are expecting from the Made by Google Pixel event that's coming on August 13th. 3 products are all but confirmed: Pixel 9, 9 Pro, and a Fold. A 4th smartphone could also be announced, Pixel 9 Pro XL, with a bigger screen and battery. Gemini is expected to play a big role in the new phones, as indicated by the official Google teasers for the phones. It looks like the Pixel 9 and 9 Pro will feature a slightly flatter back, and the camera visor is going to be slightly rounded and pill-shaped. As one would expect, the internals of the devices would also get upgraded this year, with a higher megapixel camera array topping the wish list for users. Pixel phones in the past have had a few bugs, but performance has always remained top-notch. And with the next edition of Tensor chip, likely to be called Tensor G4, it's only expected to go higher. Rumors also suggest up to 16 GB RAM, likely to power Gemini's on-device capabilities. The Mountain View company has also confirmed the arrival of a Pixel 9 Pro Fold, thanks to a dedicated teaser. Google has announced the first-gen Pixel Fold last year at the Google I/O, but that folding phone never really made its way to India. This one is definitely coming our way at our stores close to you, and it looks like it will be a little slimmer than the first generation. The camera module also looks a little different, with much more squarish approach this time, as opposed to the rectangular strip last year. And judging by the teaser, it will have a lot of Gemini features to go with. But the big question remains, can Google price their foldable offering properly in this country to mount a charge against the likes of Samsung, OnePlus, and Vivo, that are either competing on price or in terms of their functionality? Well, we'll find out soon. Next up, we also expect the new lineup of the Pixel Watch to be announced. Should Google announce it, this year would mark the 3rd generation of Pixel Watches, which have so far failed to impress many. It's expected to come in 2 sizes, that's 41mm and 45mm. The Pixel Watch has often come under fire for its thick bezels and average battery life, but if rumors are to be believed, both these things would change this year, with reduced bezels and almost 36 hours of battery life. Pixel Watch 3 could also come up with 2000 nits peak brightness. That's what's expected. Made by Google is typically a hardware event, as the name suggests. However, we fully expect AI and Gemini to dominate most of the headlines. The event is happening on the 13th of August at 10:30 p.m. Indian Standard Time. And if you want the latest updates on the launch, then of course, stay tuned to our website, techtoday.in, and come back to Tech Today for a lot of scoop in the world of tech.
If you thought some of the first half of our show was futuristic, then what if I told you that in the second half of the show, we're taking you back to the future? Now, to understand what that means, you'll have to see me after a short commercial break. I'll see you on the other side.
Motorola Razr 50 Ultra comes with Google Gemini. Motorola Razr 50 Ultra comes with Google Gemini.
Hi, I am AI anchor Sana, bringing the top headlines for you, presented by Motorola. Center forms probe panel to ensure safety of minorities in Bangladesh. PR Srijesh to be joint flag bearer with Manu Bhakar at closing ceremony of Paris Olympics. Center announces JPC on new Waqf board bill.
Viewer, whenever there is any conflict, whenever there is any implosion of the kind that we're seeing take place in Bangladesh, there is always a period that is called the fog of war. A brief period when it becomes very difficult to confirm claims or counterclaims. There is usually a great deal of misinformation, there's a great deal of fake news, there's a great deal of attempts to divert and set certain political agendas. One particular piece of information that has been from the outset denied by a certain denier brigade here in India is the attacks on Hindus. Even in Bangladesh, where Hindus are, of course, the
Welcome back to Tech Today. I'm your host, Ayush Alavadi, and now it's the battle you've been waiting for, the battle of foldables. It's the new Samsung Galaxy Z Fold 6, just fresh out of Galaxy Unpacked. And guess what? OnePlus, the real king of the foldable segment, is out with an upgraded Apex edition. Which one is the Apex Predator in this foldables race? That's what we're going to find out in this segment of Tech Today. Now, in the battle of foldables, the new OnePlus Open Apex Edition comes in this crimson shadow colorway with 1 terabyte storage and 16 GB of RAM. The Galaxy Fold 6 comes with 1 terabyte of storage and 12 GB RAM, but there's a difference in terms of what's under the hood with the processor. This comes with the Snapdragon 8 Gen 3 and this with the Snapdragon 8 Gen 2. Not much of a difference in terms of performance. This covers up with more RAM. But which foldable is worth your money? The 6th generation of the Samsung or the 1.5 generation of the OnePlus? Well, I think the color looks great and this textured back is definitely nicer than this metallic finish according to me. So this one gets full marks for design. But what about using them in terms of software and hardware? So looks are subjective, but like I said, the OnePlus, the new color looks great, even better than the previous one. The weight is around the same, 239, 240 grams. But in terms of holding it in the hand, thanks to its rounded corners, the OnePlus is definitely more pocketable and easier to handle than the sharp edges on the Z Fold 6. If you don't have a cover on this and you hold this for too long, even holding it while shooting this, it's already piercing through the skin. This is a lot easier to use in that sense, and that too with one hand. Now, of course, both cover displays are 6.3 inches, but the OnePlus is wider and it feels much more natural to use. Samsung has this taller aspect ratio and it can be cumbersome to make it feel like a normal phone. But in terms of durability, Samsung is stronger on paper with Corning Gorilla Glass Victus 2 protection. Both have 120Hz screens. This is a bit brighter at 2800 nits versus this at 2600 nits. But honestly, Samsung screens are great. So both of them do a fairly decent job if you want to use them for content consumption. But tech gurus will give you all these specs because it's essentially a press release. The real proof is in the pudding, and that happens to be with the crease. With the OnePlus, even with the previous version, it isn't as prominent as the Samsung crease problem. This is something that Samsung needs to fix. You're in your 6th generation, and with prolonged usage, this becomes even more prominent. So this is a big issue, which OnePlus definitely has gotten right on its first attempt. Now, in terms of multitasking, both devices have a fairly decent software, but OnePlus has these typical OnePlus hacks which make multitasking for me personally a lot easier. AI-wise, the Samsung scores in terms of Galaxy AI, which of course they are trying, and it is in an evolutionary phase. The OnePlus doesn't really go on bragging about its AI features, but when AI becomes a thing, that's something OnePlus will need to introduce in these devices as well. Now, honestly, when you're talking about a foldable form factor, you're not going in it for the camera. But if you're creating content and this is your only device, then you want the camera to be fairly decent. Both of them seem all right in terms of output. Maybe one is slightly better than the other in terms of specs, but honestly, Samsung cameras, and this is pretty much like the S24 lineup, are fairly decent in terms of what they do. Sometimes I think this one blows out the exposure and the brightness a little bit more, and this one oversaturates. But this is a problem across the OnePlus and Samsung lineup, so it's not specific to these foldables. What about battery life? OnePlus has a bigger battery at 4,805 mAh, while Samsung's is 4,400 mAh. OnePlus genuinely lasts longer. It also has faster charging with 67-watt wired charging. Now, I'm going to come to the price, but what about what comes out of the box? When you do a typical unboxing, this one ships with a charger as well as a case, while Samsung, the Fold, only has a C-to-C cable. Now, when it comes to foldables, price is a factor you want to consider. Of course, this one costs 1,50,000 for the new 16 GB 1 terabyte version, whereas this one costs over 2 lakh rupees. And that really is a game changer in terms of how much you're saving. You can literally buy another Android device, a fairly decent one, maybe even a Samsung device, a Galaxy device, in that price difference. So honestly, for a fraction or a portion of that price, if you're getting a really formidable foldable, that's an alliteration I had not planned, then the OnePlus Open seems like a much better bet, because there are things, of course, that Samsung does better, but there's a host of things that this does better in the foldables race. And it's a lot easier on the pocket too. Welcome to the future with Mercedes. I have with me a Mercedes Maybach, to be precise. We're on planet Earth, though this is fitting of a sci-fi movie from Mars. But let me really walk you through what is behind me. It's an EV from the future, a concept, of course, here displayed at the Grand NMACC venue. It's going to be here till October, but this is your first look on Tech Today, and I want to tell you about what luxury EV with the rugged outdoors can be envisioned like, especially if you have a top designer like the late Virgin Abloh and Mercedes Maybach. Now, what's the big giveaway that this is a Maybach? That's, of course, with the grille and then with the logo right up front. The first most striking thing, apart from the design, is these off-roading tires. Now, they're 17-inch rims with these coarse off-road capabilities. But if you look at these exposed nuts and bolts, you know this is signature Maybach, because even with these exposed screws, you have the Maybach logo right there. This is an incredibly long car. When I say long, I mean 6 meters long. Is that something practical in Mumbai traffic? Maybe not, but if this was in the rugged outdoors, you'd need battery. If you have a look at this massive hood of the car, this transparent hood, you will see solar panels installed with signature Maybach logos as well. If you go inside the car, you see that it's a really cool infotainment system, massive if you want to play games, and that you can. You also have a steering wheel which is fit to be in the next Need for Speed franchise or Gran Turismo. Absolutely amazing. And then these seats, which seem like ordinary seats with this coffee tan sort of finish, but you can go completely flat like a first-class executive seat. It's a 2-seater coupe. And most importantly, when you go flat and you think you don't want to be in the car, this is meant for the outdoors. It was designed to be out there. So if you're backpacking, maybe somewhere in Europe or even here in Lonavala, Mahabaleshwar or in Shimla, you can pick up that seat, pull it out like a suitcase, a modular design, and then place it somewhere else. What if you're feeling cold? It seems like the designers here really gave that some thought as well. The headrest is this luxury blanket which can be pulled out, unfurled, and used as a blanket to really, well, spice things up. If you come to the back of the car, it's deceptive. It almost looks like the front of the car because you've got these 2 big lights right here. And honestly, it does look futuristic, but it also looks very classic as well. Maybe going 40 years back into the future. Super duper cool. You have Maybach branding over here as well. Now, if you look up top over here, you can obviously put a tent over there, maybe go camping. We've seen that with other off-roaders, but it's interesting because if you see what Rivian's doing in the US, for instance, there's so much of this modular design with EVs, SUVs, electric SUVs. You can use them for several other purposes, maybe charging other devices, also spending some time outside, but just have one look at this and soak it all in. This is what the future probably looks like, especially if you go by Mercedes' vision with Maybach, and of course, the late Virgil Abloh. An absolute back to the future moment with this EV, and we can only hope that we see this at some point on Indian roads. It's time to wrap up yet another action-packed episode of Tech Today, and it's always like that. If you blink, you will miss it. But this is a futuristic electric episode which sort of would take your breath away. If I feel we need to recharge, the only advantage to this car that I see in terms of battery and range without even knowing the specs is that it has these lovely solar panels right here in the front, which mean that I can use a very sustainable source of electricity. But For that, I'll also need to take it outdoors, not inside an MACC. Maybe once the cameras stop rolling, I will sneak it out. Let me figure out how to do that jugaad. But what I can tell you is I will see you, not the same place, but definitely the same time next week. Until next week, adios.
You are watching India Today. The grandest stage.
The ultimate challenge. Where dreams are made.
And legends are born.
The pinnacle of sportsmanship.
Where new heroes will rise and old records will fall.
As the Olympic journey begins, our nation unites in a single resounding cheer. Go India! Go for glory!
Go India. Go for glory. Only on India Today.
Powered by GSW. #रुकना नहीं है.
You are watching India Today.
Here's some breaking news coming in. Prime Minister Modi in landslide hit Wayanad. Modi conducts aerial survey. Prime Minister undertook an aerial survey in Wayanad before physically visiting the location of the disaster. In the aerial survey, he saw the origin of the landslide, which is the origin of the Iruvazinji Puza River. He also observed the worst affected areas of Punchiri Matam, Mundakai and Churalmala, which are the worst affected places considering the landslides. The death toll from the Wayanad landslides has crossed 400, with more than 150 people still missing. Rescue operations are underway, with teams now focused on the forested regions. The Kerala government has also enlisted the help of the families of the missing and local residents in the search efforts. Rescue operations are underway. An elaborate search effort was carried out from Punchiri Matam, the point of origin of the landslide, and proceeded through Mundakai and Churalmala. The search continued further to Sucharipara waterfalls in Mepari Panchayat and extended to Putukal and Nilambur in Malappuram district. So as you see on the screens, Prime Minister Modi undertook an aerial survey in Wayanad before physically visiting the location of the disaster. And he saw the origin of the landslide that killed more than 400 people. And the origin of the landslide is the Iruvazinji Puza River. Shilpa Nair is joining us live on the broadcast. Shilpa, the Kerala government has been asking, for the Wayanad landslides to be considered a national disaster. And now the Prime Minister is, going to hold a meeting with the Kerala Chief Minister. So do we know if there's any relief package that is going to be meted out to the state for relief operations?
Well, Chetna, that's the big question. What is the kind of assistance that will be given from the central government? That is what everyone wants to know at this point in time, because given the magnitude of the landslide that hit Wayanad, it is impossible for the state government, to take up rescue and rehabilitation works. The rehabilitation works on priority, of course. So that is the reason why there is a need for center-state coordination on this front, especially when it comes to rehabilitating these survivors of these this landslide. And the Prime Minister's visit assumes a lot of significance. And just a day before his visit, the central teams of officials from different ministries were also in Wayanad, taking stock of the situation, assessing the magnitude of this disaster, and also interacting with the local officials here, and also speaking to the survivors of the landslide. So we can expect some kind of an announcement from the side of the Prime Minister after his visit. He just undertook an aerial survey. He was accompanied by Kerala Chief Minister Pinarayi Vijayan and Kerala Governor Arif Mohammed Khan. The Prime Minister was thoroughly briefed by officials, even as those visuals that we got of the Prime Minister undertaking that aerial survey in his chopper. We could see officials explaining to him the trajectory of this landslide, because remember, from the origin place, from the place where this landslide originated, the debris flow was around 8 kilometers. So that's the kind of magnitude of this landslide. And the Prime Minister saw all of that firsthand, and he was briefed by the officials as to what exactly transpired on that fateful night, giving him an idea of how this entire area of Mundakkai, Churalmala, Punjirimattam, etc. were completely destroyed because of this landslide. So the Prime Minister now, of course, has seen the extent of it. Now he's currently on his way to Churalmala. This is also the place where the Indian Army had built that Bailey Bridge, the much needed Bailey Bridge, in a record time. So the Prime Minister is expected to interact with some of the people who've been undertaking rescue and search operations all these days. From day one, they've been tirelessly working on ground. So we're being given to understand the Prime Minister will inspect this Bailey Bridge that was constructed, because remember, areas like Mundakkai was completely cut off for the rescue team until the Indian Army built that Bailey Bridge in record time. We saw a massive effort being put in by the Indian Army personnel there, and within record time it was constructed, which allowed the movement of heavy vehicles and heavy equipments and earth movers, JCBs. All of it could be taken across the river only with the help of the Bailey Bridge. So the Prime Minister will be visiting Churalmala in just a short while from now. His convoy is already on its way, is what we're being told. But after that, he'll also be interacting with some of the people who are undergoing treatment, who are admitted to some of the hospitals here in Wayanad, also people who are currently camped in relief centers. Initially, it was told to us that the Prime Minister will be visiting this St. Joseph's Girl Higher Secondary School here in Wayanad. This is Mepadi, and behind me are the visuals of that particular relief camp. But we are also being now told that there could be a slight change of plans, where where the Prime Minister could interact with some of these people who are living in relief camps in a separate location. So there is no clarity on that yet. But after all of this is done, the Prime Minister will also hold a review meeting with the officials, and that is going to be key, because the state government has now, they've already said that they want the central government to declare this a national disaster, and not just the Kerala government, but also the opposition parties here in Kerala, and including leader of opposition Rahul Gandhi, the former MP of Wayanad. He spoke in the parliament, and even yesterday, Rahul Gandhi had taken to social media saying that it's encouraging that the Prime Minister is visiting Wayanad personally, and he hopes that once he assesses the damage and assesses this disaster, then he'll declare this a national disaster. So whether or not that will be done, that's the big question, because that's the single most demand that's coming in from the side of the state government and the political parties here in Kerala, because they need more funds, they need more rehabilitation packages, because it's not going to be easy to rehabilitate so many displaced people. And even though some of them still have their homes, that area again is so vulnerable at this point in time that nobody really wants to go back to Mundakkai or Churalmala or Punjirimattam. So they need to be taken to another location. They need to be given houses. They need to start their lives from scratch. So for all that, it requires an enormous effort from the side of the center and the state government, and that's the reason why they want this to be declared a national disaster, so that more funds can come in, and therefore rehabilitation can go on in a much smoother manner. But if not, there are also demands that at least this be declared as a disaster of severe category, because several MPs like Congress MP Shashi Tharoor or CPIM Rajya Sabha MP John Brittas, all of them had written to Union Home Minister Amit Shah when the landslide took place, saying that the landslide should be declared as a
as a calamity of severe nature, because that will allow even MPs to contribute some amount of money towards the rehabilitation work. So there are, of course, multiple such demands coming in. The state government also needs fund from the NDRF to undertake restoration work, to undertake rehabilitation work. So all of that, an assessment of that will be done. The central teams have also visited. So they have taken stock of the situation. They have a rough idea of what it requires to rebuild Wayanad, to rebuild the lives of these people who've been displaced due to this landslide. Once the Prime Minister holds the meeting with the officials, we'll get an idea of as to what the state government has demanded. For now, as an interim measure, the state government had initially
Shilpa,
demanded
we'll come back to you for
2,000
more on
crore
this. We have
rupees
some more
from the
breaking
centre.
news coming in.
But whether or not
Union Minister Nitin Gadkari has warned the Punjab Chief Minister Bhagwant Mann over law and order in Punjab. Nitin Gadkari has said law and order is not good in Punjab. NHAI officials and contractors are getting harassed. Questions raised on Punjab government regarding the security of officials and contractors. Earlier, 103-kilometre projects worth Rs 3,263 crores was stopped in Punjab. If it continues like this, then the 293-kilometre projects worth Rs 14,288 crores will be stopped. A meeting was held with the PWD Minister of Punjab. Many things were discussed in the meeting. But even after that, the situation did not improve. The situation became even worse, is what Nitin Gadkari has said. Aman Bhardwaj is joining us live on the broadcast. Aman, give us more clarity on what exactly the Union Minister Nitin Gadkari has hit out at the Punjab Chief Minister about.
See, NHA is taking out a national express highway, which is named for developing Greenfield and Brownfield National Highway corridor for Delhi Amritsar Katra Express Highway in the state of Punjab. And it's till time it's been started. First, it saw the protests of the farmers for land acquisition. Then it came for the demand for the land from the farmer side. It sees protests. So now the NHA officials or the workers were being targeted, and some incident happened few days back in Ludhiana and Jalandhar area also, for which NHAI gave a written complaint to the Chief Secretary from the NHAI side, and from the Chief Secretary it went to the DGP that action must be taken for the incident that NHAI officials been targeted by the locals or by the protesters been protesting for this highway project. And for this for whole incident, the attacks which took for the protests which took, it concluded in a way that 3 of the projects of NHAI for worth of more than 3,000 crore were cancelled. And further also, it's been warned in the letter, the same incident being quoted by Nitin Gadkari, Union Minister, to Chief Minister Bhagwant Mann, that in previous day NHA officials witnessed protests, 3 of projects of Punjab of this national highway Katra Express being cancelled, which were worth of more than 3,000 crore. Now, if the same situation carries in future also, worth of 8,000 crore projects, which is more than 14,000
Right, Aman, keep
crore.
tracking that story. We'll come back to you for more on this. Horrific incident of a PG trainee doctor at Kolkata's government-run RG Kar Hospital raped and killed has shocked the nation. There is massive outrage over the death of a 31-year-old trainee doctor. Students took to protest demanding strictest action in the case. One person has also been detained in the case. Details from initial autopsy report reveal the horror. According to the 4-page report, there was bleeding from the victim's eyes and mouth. There were injuries all over her face and nail. The victim was also bleeding from her private parts. Victim also had injuries in her belly, left leg, neck, right hand, ring finger, and lips. Reports suggest the victim was first strangulated and then smothered to death. One person has been detained in the case so far in the probe by the SIT. Meanwhile, students led a massive protest demanding the strictest action in the case. The BJP also protested, saying the law and order situation in Bengal is completely collapsed under Mamata's rule.
আমরা সুবিচার চাই, সুবিচার চাই। তা আমার মেয়েকে আমাদের সন্দেহ ধর্ষণ করে খুন করা হয়েছে। সব রকম হোক, যাই হবে, ন্যায় বিচার হোক। কি হবে কি হবে না এখন এই সমস্ত আমরা বলতে পারছি না।
মেয়েকে তো আর খুঁজে পাবে না।
যাই গেছে আমাকে আমার যা গেছে সে কেউ দেবে না। সুতরাং এই ব্যাপার নিয়ে আমি আর কোনো কথা বলবো না।
আগে চলে আসলো, আপনারা এত পরে আসলেন।
সেটা তখন পুলিশ খুব বাজে ব্যবহার করেছে, আমাদের গাড়িটাকে মেরে আবার গাড়িটা মানে ঠেলে ঠেলে আমাদের গাড়ি পার করছে।
যে গোটা পশ্চিমবঙ্গ দুষ্কৃতীদের দখলে চলে গেছে, ফলে এখনই যে ঘটনা পড়েন ওই ঘটনা ঘটার পর যা কিছু ঘটে চলেছে প্রশাসনের পক্ষ থেকে আমাদের মনে হচ্ছে কোনো না কোনো ভাবে যে একে ধামাচাপা দেওয়ার একটা প্রচেষ্টা, এটাকে আত্মহত্যা বলার একটা প্রচেষ্টা, অথচ মানে সত্যিকারের তদন্ত করে সেই তদন্তে দোষীদের শাস্তি দেওয়ার কোনো উদ্যোগ প্রশাসনের আছে বলে আমাদের মনে হচ্ছে না।
देखिए मैडम, ये जो इंसिडेंट हुआ है आर्चिकर में, ये अत्यंत दुखजनक है। ये लड़की मेरा लड़की जैसी है। इसके साथ हुआ क्या वो तो पोस्टमार्टम रिपोर्ट के बाद ही पता चलेगी, लेकिन ये बोल सकता हूँ एज ए प्रिंसिपल, एज ए हेड ऑफ द इंस्टीट्यूशन, आई हैव टेकन ऑल नेसेसरी स्टेप्स regarding inquiry and everything is doing properly. As a principal, I want the report should come as first and the culprit should get punished. This much I can say.
Well, after the alleged murder of the junior doctor in Arjikar Hospital of Kolkata, there is an outreach in Kolkata as well as in the West Bengal as the doctors have started protesting against the alleged crime that has happened in the Arjikar Hospital. And right now you can see that parts of doctors, those who are right now protesting, they are demanding that they are the saviors of the community, and right now they have been attacked and the alleged murder has happened already. Well, we can see that the people, that the doctors are in the streets, hitting the streets against protesting against the alleged murder that has happened in Arjikar Hospital, as the murder case has already been filed by the police. One people already detained, and right now there is a protest going on against this heinous crime that has happened in Arjikar Hospital. With camera person Prabir Vishwas, Anirban Sinha Roy for India Today, Kolkata.
We're going to slip into a short break. Coming up on the other side, Bangladesh remains on the edge as violence against minorities rises. Hindus in Bangladesh hit the streets, protest over persecution of minorities.
You are watching India Today.
Came around to say hello. I'm so fly. You took a nosedive. Careful when you play on my level. For you it's so. Hey, hello.
Motorola Razr 50 Ultra. Flip the script.
Hello, Moto.
In politics, everyone has an opinion, but I have the data. Whose stock is rising? Whose graph is falling? Track India's political stock exchange. Unmatched, unmissable data analytics. The only show on News TV where numbers do the talking. India's most credible poll tracker. The Political Stock Exchange. With Rahul Kamal, only on India Today.
सर, मैं जया अमिताभ बच्चन ये बोलना चाहती हूँ। मैं कलाकार हूँ, बॉडी लैंग्वेज समझती हूँ, एक्सप्रेशन समझती हूँ। और सर, मुझे माफ करिएगा, मगर आपका टोन जो है is not acceptable. We are colleagues, sir. You may be sitting on the chair. And I remember when I went to school.
Jayaji, take your seat. Jayaji, take your seat. Take your seat. Take your seat. Take your seat. Once again, honorable members. Honorable members. Honorable no, बैठिए. Honorable members, बैठिए. I know how to deal with it. बैठिए. Jayaji, you have earned a great reputation. You have earned a great reputation. You know, an actor is subject to the director. You have not seen what I see from here. Every day, I don't want to repeat. I don't want schooling. I am a person who has gone out of the way. And you say, my tone? No, she's giving to you. No, you don't have floor now. No, enough of it. No, enough of it. You can't have it. You may be anybody. You may be a celebrity. You have to understand the decorum. No, nothing doing, nothing.
You are watching India Today.
We have some breaking news coming in. Mamata Banerjee's first reaction on the Kolkata rape and murder horror. Mamata Banerjee said, the incident is unfortunate and despicable. It feels like a personal loss to me, is what Mamata Banerjee said. The doctors' angers and demand is justified. I supported. Police have also accepted their demands. She further says, I've directed for the case to be taken to a fast-track court. If needed, the accused will be hanged. Mamata also says, I have directed for the case to be taken to a fast-track court. I am not pro-capital punishment, but they should be given the strictest punishment. Suryagini is live with us on the broadcast. Suryagini, after the whole uproar on the Kolkata rape and murder case, now Mamata Banerjee has reacted on the case. Tell us more. Suryagini, if you can hear me. Mamata Banerjee has given her first reaction on the despicable Kolkata rape and murder case. She said that the incident is unfortunate and despicable. It feels like a personal loss to me, and the doctor's anger and demand is justified. She also says that she's directed for the case to be taken to a fast-track court, and if needed, the accused will be hanged. She further says that she's not pro-capital punishment, but they should be given the strictest punishment possible. Right, Suryagini Roy is joining us live on the broadcast. Suryagini, after the whole uproar on the Kolkata rape and murder case, now Mamata Banerjee has reacted. Give us more details.
See, Mamata Banerjee spoke to the family last evening itself, and the family had, asked Mamata Banerjee to make sure that the inquiry that happens, that's a neutral one, and it stays, it happens swiftly, and they want justice. And she had told them that she will make sure that justice is served. Just a while back, what we have gathered is that she has given her support to the students. She claims that she is. She supports the demands of the students, and that is something that's a big development in this. Secondly, and more importantly, as per the statement issued, she doesn't really have any objection if the students or the one who are tracking this case, if they want any other law enforcement agency to investigate this particular matter. So that's a huge statement coming in from the Chief Minister of West Bengal, because let's not forget that other political parties had demanded a CBI investigation, and somewhere or the other, Mamata Banerjee, by the statement that we have got, she is okay with the fact. She has also further stated that she does not support capital punishment, but if required, if the fast track court, which she has asked to step in for the for the fast justice delivery, she is okay with the fact if this particular accused, if proven guilty, can be hanged as well. So that's also a major statement coming in from the Chief Minister herself. It's something very interesting amidst the political fiasco that we had seen between the BJP, the Congress and the left against the Trinamool Congress, because the opposition parties,
Right,
they
so
had
Yagini,
time
we'll come
and again
back to you for
stated
more on this. There's a press conference that the Kolkata police is holding over the horrific murder. Let's listen in.
Verbal opinion on the PM. Is sexual assault confirmed on the doctor?
So the case has been started both under rape and murder. If আপনারা সবাই একসঙ্গে বলেন তাহলে it is so difficult for me to follow whom to answer whom not to answer.
লোকজন অভিযোগ করছেন যে তাদেরকে না জানিয়ে বডি বের করে নিয়ে যাওয়া হয়েছে আপনার পোস্টমর্টম।
আপনারা সবাই দেখেছে, আপনারা নিজেও ছিলেন, the family was there throughout this. The family was there right from the time when the inquest was conducted. Doctors were present there, junior doctors were, PG students were present there. ওরা ইনকোয়েস্টের সময় ছিল, পোস্টমর্টমের সময় ছিল, ফ্যামিলি ছিল, সব সময় ওদের ছিল, and there is no basis to this. They have signed everywhere, and they whatever they wanted in terms of what should be the how the inquest should be done and all that. So they themselves had made a requisition, and accordingly they have also tried to adhere to that.
অভিযুক্ত ক্রিমিনাল বোঝা গেল বিষয়টি, কিন্তু সে কি কলকাতা পুলিশের আন্ডারে সিভিক ভলান্টিয়ার?
কি আছে না আছে সেটা দেখা যাবে, বাট হি ইজ দি হাইয়েস্ট ফর্ম অফ ক্রিমিনাল। আমি বললাম তো আপনাকে, ঠিক আছে, সেটা আপনাদেরকে পরে জানিয়ে দেওয়া হবে। রাইট নাও হি ইজ এ ক্রিমিনাল, ঠিক আছে। We are looking into this.
মাল্টিপল অ্যাকিউজ কি আছে?
এটা আমরা দেখো, ইট ইজ জাস্ট দ্য বিগিনিং অফ দ্য ইনভেস্টিগেশন। এখন আমি জাস্ট আপনাকে ইনভেস্টিগেশন একদিনে কনক্লুড হয়ে গেছে এই জিনিসটা আমি বলতে পারছি, ঠিক আছে। এখন তো আমরা অনেক লোককে এক্সামিন করছি। It is not a conclusion of investigation. Investigation is ongoing.
That's the Kolkata police saying they're going to be tracking the case. But with that, it's a wrap on this bulletin. For more news and updates, you can download the India Today app. You can also log on to indiatoday.in. Thank you for watching.
You are watching India Today.
Came around to say hello. One-on-one, I'm so fly. You took a nosedive. Careful when you play on my level. For you, it's so. Hey, hello.
Motorola Razr 50 Ultra. Flip the script.
Hello, Moto.
This is a raging debate. Who is a content creator versus who is an influencer? We tend to use these terms interchangeably, but that does not mean that they are the same words. There are similarities, but there are also differences between the two.
I think it's your audience that decides whether you're an influencer. It's not you. For me, that's how I interpret this whole weighing in on social media content creator versus influencer.
So I would say that I have received as much love on my content as a creator and as an influencer.
So whether you are a content creator or whether you call yourself an influencer, you are influencing somebody or the other at every stage, I feel. Yeah.
So-
It's a very fuzzy line, I can say, you know.
So you see, even for popular influencers, the lines between a creator and an influencer are so blurry, just like my background. Now, this is because influencers often create content themselves, which leads to this confusion. Let me tell you some similarities between influencers and creators. Storytelling is one. Both weave stories, share experiences, and create compelling narratives. Audience engagement and creating a loyal base of followers. And of course, personal branding using their unique personalities and style.
I definitely consider myself as a chef first, and by default, I became a content creator, and I hope to say that I am an influencer.
So it's clear that not every creator is an influencer, but every influencer is a creator first. That's how the journey usually begins. But once you become an influencer, the differences start to arise. You understand what your audience likes and doesn't like, so you focus more on what sells. You have a niche expertise. You start doing more brand promotions. You learn how to advertise a certain product to your audience so you can influence their purchasing decisions. And the influencer economy has grown leaps and bounds in the country. Here are some numbers for you. India's creator economy has exploded, especially after the pandemic, with creator growth exceeding 115%, and it's predicted to reach 1 million creators with 100,000 followers over the next 3 years. In fact, according to a 2022 EY report, 86% of influencers expected over 10% increase in their income over the next 2 years. The same report also states that 75% brands consider influencer marketing as part of their marketing strategy. In fact, influencers focus a lot on brand deals. It's how they make most of their profits.
Hello and welcome. I'm Geeta Mohan and you're watching World Today. Now, the situation at the border between India and Bangladesh is dire. Also, the situation with regards to minorities within Bangladesh has become quite disturbing. Several Hindu temples, households and businesses have been vandalized, and at least 2 Hindu leaders affiliated with Hasina's Awami League party were killed in the violence. Here is a detailed report about the violence within after the ouster of Sheikh Hasina.
Temples targeted. Hindu homes looted and torched. As violence gripped Bangladesh after Sheikh Hasina fled the country, frightened Hindus are reaching the border with India in hundreds. Minority communities in the country are on the edge as anti-Hasina forces went on the rampage, killing political rivals. The victims included at least 2 Hindu leaders affiliated with the Awami League. Indian security agencies have issued an alert. The Narendra Modi government has set up a committee to monitor the situation on the border with Bangladesh. Central forces have heightened surveillance. In Dhaka, the new interim government led by Nobel laureate Professor Muhammad Yunus is taking shape. Prime Minister Narendra Modi congratulated Yunus on taking charge and urged him to ensure safety and protection of Hindus and all other minority communities. Yunus met with Bangladeshi officials on Friday. He has appealed for peace. Bangladesh's ousted Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina, who fled to India, remains at the Hindon Air Base near Delhi. The new government under Yunus faces 2 significant challenges: ending the violence against Hindus and reviving the country's struggling economy. Bureau Report, India Today.
While Bangladesh continues to seek normalcy and peace, the country gets a new interim government with Nobel Peace Laureate Dr. Muhammad Yunus having been sworn in as the chief advisor to the government. 2 student leaders were among 17 who became part of this new interim government.
Bangladesh now hopes for peace after weeks of violence not only toppled the Sheikh Hasina government, but also caused unrest and risked the lives of minorities. Nobel Peace Prize laureate Muhammad Yunus was sworn in as the chief advisor in the Bangladesh's interim government. Yunus, 84 years old, was recommended for the role by student protesters and returned to Dhaka. The interim government is tasked with holding fresh elections. Popularly called the banker to the poor, Yunus is the pioneer of the global microcredits movement. The Grameen Bank he founded won the 2006 Nobel Peace Prize for helping lift millions from poverty by providing tiny loans to the rural poor who are too impoverished to gain attention from traditional banks.
On the way back, I heard that law and order was being disrupted here. People are carrying out attacks on others, burning houses, destroying property, attacking offices and courts, attacking minorities, Hindus, Buddhists, Christian, Ahmadiyas. These are part of the conspiracy. These are not our matters. Our job is to protect everyone.
Nahid Islam and Asim Mahmood, 2 student leaders who are both in their mid-20s and led the protest in Bangladesh, were among the 17 who joined the nation's caretaker government. The student-led movement that ousted Hasina protested against quotas in government jobs that had spiraled in July. It provoked a violent crackdown, although the government denied using excessive force. With Mahashweta Lala, Bureau Report, India Today.
In the latest on US elections, it's now war of words between Republican vice presidential candidate J.D. Vance and Democratic vice presidential nominee Tim Walz. Vance attacked Walz about his military records and blamed him for exaggerating his service records. Take a look.
As if the war of words between Donald Trump and Kamala Harris was not enough, the US election campaign is seeing another fierce battle of words between the Republican vice presidential candidate J.D. Vance and Democratic vice presidential nominee Tim Walz. The Minnesota governor, in his first rally after being chosen as the vice presidential nominee for the Democrats, was full of enthusiasm when he expressed his eagerness to debate with Vance.
And I got to tell you, I can't wait to debate the guy.
And his opponent, when posed with a question whether he intends to debate the Minnesota governor, Vance replied affirmatively.
Are you saying that you will not debate him, or will you agree to go on the debate stage with Tim Walz?
No, I absolutely want to debate Tim Walz, but I want to debate him actually after he's actually officially the nominee.
But what triggered and shifted the focus to vice presidential candidates was when unexpectedly a down-to-earth type Walz, during his first rally in Pennsylvania, referred to Trump and Vance creepy and weird.
I got to tell you, pointing out just an observation of mine that I made. I just have to say it. You know it, you feel it. These guys are creepy, and yes, just weird as hell. That's what you see. That's what you see.
But this did not stop Vance from getting back at Walz. And this time, the Ohio senator threw a punch at his opponent.
To the first vote being. I think that the weird argument honestly came from a bunch of 24-year-old social media interns who were bullied in school, and they decided they're going to project that onto the entire Trump campaign. If they want to call me weird, look, I've got my wife here, I've got 3 beautiful kids at home. I'm a normal guy who wants to live the American dream and wants all of you and your kids to be able to live the American dream. That's why I'm in it. If those people want to call me weird, I think it's a badge of honor. Tim Walz's record is a joke. He's been one of the most far left radicals in the entire United States government at any level.
But it did not end here. As Harris and her running mate rallied across the Midwest, both of them crossed paths with Vance at a Wisconsin tarmac. Vance even walked up to the vice president's jet. Vance also attacked Walz for exaggerating his service record.
We can make sure that those weapons of war that I carried in war is the only place where those weapons are at.
Vance, who had served 4-year active duty enlistment in the Marine Corps, said that Walz quit the Army National Guard 2 decades ago to avoid being deployed to Iraq.
He has not spent a day in a combat zone. What bothers me about Tim Walz is the stolen valor garbage. Do not pretend to be something that you're not.
Walz served in the National Guard for 24 years and has never claimed to have seen active combat. He retired honorably to run for Congress in 2005. With Mahashweta Lala, Bureau Report, India Today.
Time for a short break. On the other side, we have lots more coming up on World Today. Stay tuned to India Today.
Came around to say hello. I'm so fly. You took a nosedive. Careful when you play on my level. For you it's so. Hey, hello.
Motorola Razr 50 Ultra. Flip the script.
Hello, Moto.
Make your media plan smarter with India Today Live TV on your connected devices. Amplify your brand with 100 million smart internet viewers. To advertise, mail us at sales@aajtak.com. Make your media plan smarter with India Today Live TV on your connected devices. Amplify your brand with 100 million smart internet viewers. To advertise, mail us at sales@aajtak.com.
Welcome back to World Today. Now, Britain has been hit by a series of riots after the killing of 3 young girls in Southport. Far-right groups opposed immigration and planned dozens of gatherings across the United Kingdom, which soon turned violent. Now, anti-racism and anti-fascist groups have responded by organizing counter-protests across the country.
Say it loud, say it clear. Refugees are welcome here. Our streets.
Thousands of anti-racism protesters rallied in cities and towns across England against the anti-immigrant rioting and disorder led by the far-right groups.
Important to be here because the racists who came out in the wake of the Southport murders, they have seized an opportunity to try and attack asylum seekers and refugees across the country. And they spread that to a general attack on anybody they perceive to be non-white.
We want to unite.
we want to send a clear message that these are our streets. We've worked hard to create unity, and we have a community. We're not going to let fascists, we're not going to let racists and the far right march here. Yeah, that's basically why I'm here. And there's fear. They've spread a lot of fear, and I was fearful, but I thought, no, it's very important to be here and meet them. If they want to talk, let's talk.
England was hit by massive violence and protest that erupted after 3 young girls were killed in a knife attack in northwest England's Southport, triggering a wave of false information on social media that wrongly identified the accused as an Islamist migrant. British Prime Minister Keir Starmer stated that harsh sentences given to those involved in disorder sends a powerful message and play a part in preventing further violence.
We really are, as communities and as a country, particularly.
I continue my discussions coordinating with law enforcement, with police leaders, to make sure we've got the right officers in the right place, to keep pushing on the criminal justice response. I was very keen that we're able to demonstrate that if you're involved in disorder, within days you'll be in the criminal justice system, and some people starting long terms of imprisonment. That needs to continue.
After Starmer blamed the social media companies for spreading misinformation, Elon Musk tweeted on X that civil war is inevitable. Then Musk went on to comment on various posts attacking the UK government for being biased. Heavy security presence, rapid arrests, and display of unity by people across Britain has prevented widespread rioting for now. But the police remain on high alert across the country. UK has been experiencing one of the worst riots in 13 years as protests and clashes broke over the government's immigration policy in major cities including London, Manchester and Liverpool. With Neha Kumari, Bureau Report, India Today.
Sunita Williams stranded in space till 2025. That's the news that's coming in. There are serious concerns over her health. The NASA astronaut will, in all likelihood, come back to Earth only in February of 2025 after her ride to space. The Boeing Starline developed technical issues. What was meant to be a 7-day journey has become a long wait in space now. Experts worry that Sunita would suffer from bone weakness and be exposed to radiation for long periods of time. And needless to say, the mental effects of being in space for so many months is also a concern. Anxiety and loneliness, experts opine, could kick in. It's not just Sunita, but also Butch Wilmer, who is currently stranded, and they will have to count on each other to keep their spirits up. NASA is doing everything they can to figure out Sunita Williams and Butch Wilmer's homecoming, and let's hope their return happens at the earliest. Taylor Swift's 3 concerts in Austria has been cancelled due to terror threat after government confirmation of a planned attack at the stadium. Take a look at this report. It is concerning, but it is also one that has preempted a terror attack.
Are you ready for it? I'll be your host this evening. My name is Taylor.
It goes without saying Taylor Swift's Eras Tour is one of the most successful concerts ever. And why not? Her 3-hour set list is no joke, neither is her schedule.
Welcome to the Eras Tour.
But while she has been going strong, especially since March 2023, with little to no hiccups, it's now that the unstoppable singer hit a roadblock, that too in Vienna. That's right. In a major security nightmare, Taylor Swift, who was set to hold not one but 3 shows in the capital city of Austria, had to cancel those after 2 suspects were arrested for allegedly plotting a terror attack. The organizers, Barracuda Music, confirmed the news in a long post which read, "We have no choice but to cancel the 3 scheduled shows for everyone's safety. All tickets will be automatically refunded." The same was also confirmed by Austria's Chancellor Karl Nehammer through a statement, while Austria's top security chief further explained what exactly prompted the authorities to cancel the concert.
A 19-year-old Austrian citizen was arrested today in the morning hours in Turnitz. Another related arrest was made in Vienna. According to the current state of the investigation, the suspects radicalized themselves on the internet. The 19-year-old citizen of Lower Austria swore allegiance to the current leader of IS at the beginning of July. Subsequently, the suspects made concrete preparations for a terrorist attack.
Swift was scheduled to play 3 shows in the European city between August 8th and August 10th, with approximately 65,000 spectators expected at each show. Now, interestingly, this was her second last stop in the European leg of a mega popular concert, with just 5 shows in London remaining before Swift returned to North America, with Eras tour dates resuming in November in Toronto before it finally concludes on December 8th, 2024.
The dream high in the quiet of the night, you know that I caught it. Bad boy, shiny toy with the price, you know that I bought it.
Previously, and in fact most recently, Taylor Swift's highly successful Eras tour took over Zurich. And Munich.
We could leave the Christmas lights until January. It's our place. We make the rules. There's a dazzling haze, a mysterious way about here.
And the packed stadium couldn't help but live the dream they had been dreaming of, one song at a time.
Got nothing in my brain. That's what people say. That's what people say. I go on too many dates, but I can't make them stay. At least that's what people say. That's what people say. But I keep cruising. Can't stop, won't stop moving. It's like I got this music in my mind saying it's gonna be alright. Cause the player's gonna play. And the haters gonna hate. This night is sparkling. Don't you let it go. Wonders rushing all the way home.
Entertainment Bureau, India Today.
Wondering if you knew I was enchanted to you.
Lots more here from across the world and World at a Glance. Take a look.
Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro has signed a decree to block access to social media platform X for 10 days, after previously saying that social media was being used to incite violence following the country's presidential election. Maduro has frequently railed against X owner Elon Musk since the July 28th election, which the opposition says it won, a claim backed by an increasing numbers of Western governments. Philippines Philippine Nobel laureate Maria Ressa welcomed a court decision to overturn a regulator's decision to shut down the news website Rappler, describing it as vindictive after a torturous 8 years of harassment. The courts of appeal had ruled the Philippine Securities and Exchange Commission overstepped its authority in ordering Rappler's shutdown in 2018. Federal prosecutors had alleged Hunter Biden of lobbying with US officials on behalf of a Romanian businessman who was facing criminal investigation back home. Former Catalan separatist leader Carles Puigdemont defied an arrest warrant to appear at a rally in Spain's Barcelona after 7 years of self-imposed exile. He then vanished before police could arrest him, sparking a frantic search operation by police to apprehend him. Japan issued its first ever advisory on higher than usual risks of a mega quake after a strong magnitude 7.1 quake occurred this week at the edge of a tremulous seabed zone along the Pacific coast known as the Nankai Torofo. Japan estimates the next Nankai Torofo megaquake could be as powerful as magnitude 9.1. Grammy-nominated hip-hop star Travis Scott was arrested at Paris luxury George V Hotel for unspecified violence against a security guard.
That's all in this edition of World Today. Stay tuned to India Today for all the latest news and updates. Goodbye and take care.
Just came around to say hello. I'm so fly. You took a nosedive. Careful when you play on my level. For you it's so. Hey, hello.
Motorola Razr 50 Ultra. Flip the script.
Hello, Moto.
Motorola Razr 50 Ultra comes with Google Gemini.
Hi, I am AI anchor Sana, bringing the top headlines for you, presented by Motorola. Wrestler Aman Sehrawat wins bronze in 57 kilograms freestyle event at Paris Olympics. Bangladesh remains on the edge as violence against minorities rises. Plane crashes in Brazil, all 62 on board killed.
Blood, sweat, tears, and fight to the finish. A trailblazer in wrestling who was denied Olympic glory for being barely 100 grams overweight. Vinesh Fogart filed an appeal for a silver medal with the ad hoc division of the Court of Arbitration for Sports. The wrestler said she was replaced because of her failed second weigh-in, a decision taken by the United World Wrestling. She had initially sought a decision from the CAS ad hoc division annulling the challenged decision and asked for a declaration naming her eligible and qualified to participate in the final. Vinesh was represented by top legal eagles. Harish Salve, Supreme Court advocate and former Solicitor General of India, appeared for India Olympic Association. Vidushpat Singhania, a sports legal expert, appeared as amicus curiae in the arbitration court. 4 pro bono lawyers, experts in sports law, arbitration and litigation who represented Vinesh are Joel Monluis, Estelle Ivanova, Habin Estelle Kim, and Charles Anson. The legal team's case was built on 4 arguments. Vinesh's body weight was under the prescribed limit on day 1 of competition. Her weight gain was due to body's natural recovery process. As an athlete, it is her fundamental right to replenish her body and look after it. And lastly, Vinesh did not commit any fraud. The CAS is expected to deliver its verdict before the Olympics closing ceremony. With a formidable legal team by her side, the hope for justice and recognition hangs in the balance for Vinesh Fogart. Bureau Report, India Today.
Weather forecast now. Delhi, maximum 34 and minimum 27 degrees. Mumbai, maximum 28 and minimum 26 degrees. Kolkata, maximum 33 and minimum 27 degrees. Bangalore, maximum 28 and minimum 22 degrees. Chennai, maximum 33 and minimum 26 degrees. Hyderabad, maximum 32 and minimum 23 degrees.
You are watching India Today.
Breaking news coming in. Prime Minister Modi is in landslide hit Wayanad. Prime Minister takes stock of the relief operations. The death toll from the Wayanad landslides has crossed 400, with more than 150 still missing. Rescue operations are underway, with teams now focused on the forested regions. The Kerala government has also enlisted the help of the families of the missing and local residents in the search efforts. Rescue operations underway. An elaborate search effort was carried out from Puchirimattam, the point of origin of the landslide, and proceeded through Mundakai and Churalmala. The search continued further to Suchipara waterfalls in Mepari Panchayat and extended to Putukal and Nilambar in Malappuram district. These are visuals you're seeing of Prime Minister Modi taking stock of the rescue and relief operations in the landslide hit areas in Wayanad that have been responsible for over 400 deaths. Over 140 people are still missing in Wayanad, and rescue operations are underway, with the teams now focused on the forested regions. The Kerala government has also enlisted the help of the families of the missing and local residents in the search efforts. Shilpa Nair is joining us live on the broadcast. Shilpa, we earlier saw that the Prime Minister conducted an aerial survey, and now he's gone on to take stock of the rescue and relief operations. Give us more.
Well, yes, Chetna. In fact, just a short while back, Prime Minister Narendra Modi undertook an aerial survey of the landslide hit areas in Wayanad, and now he's personally visiting these areas. He's gone all the way to Churalmala, which is, of course, one of the worst affected areas in Wayanad because of this landslide. And he, from the visuals, we can see that he's closely interacting with the officials there, the district collector, the Kerala chief secretary, and also senior police officials. Union Minister Suresh Gopi is also accompanying him, and he's taking stock of the situation, trying to get an understanding of what exactly transpired on that fateful night when landslide hit Wayanad. So he, of course, saw the origin of the landslide, and according to experts, the debris flows around 8 kilometers, and now he's at Churalmala, which is the base of that particular region, and he's taking stock of the situation there, getting an understanding, getting a briefing about the extent of devastation that this landslide has caused. He's saw that aerially, but now, of course, he's on ground trying to get an understanding of what this landslide, of course, how much it has affected this entire region. So in just a short while from now, the Prime Minister will be going to another relief camp where survivors of this landslide are currently camping. He of course wants to interact with them and try and understand the kind of damages they've suffered, because remember, so many people have died in this landslide and it's not easy for these survivors to carry on with their lives. They've lost everything, their loved ones, their homes and everything. So to extend that support, to extend that sympathy and the much needed compassion, that of course is also the need of the hour. So he's taken stock of the situation on ground to understand the magnitude of the disaster, and now of course he'll be speaking to some of these survivors to be with them in this hour of grief, in this hour of difficulty, to tell them that the center is with them and they will do all that it can to extend any support to, so that these people can get back their lives back to normal. So that is the reason why he'll be visiting the relief camp here in Mepadi, and after that he'll also be going to the BIMS hospital where some of the injured are undergoing treatment, and later in the day the Prime Minister is expected to hold a review meeting with the officials, and that of course is going to be very, very important, because remember, the state government and the political parties here in Kerala have been demanding that the central government should declare this a national disaster, and even a leader of opposition and former MP of Wayanad, Rahul Gandhi, even when he spoke in the parliament and also yesterday when he took to social media, he demanded that once Prime Minister sees the situation on ground, hopefully then he'll go on to announce this as a national tragedy. The reason why they're demanding this is because more funds are required to restore and to rehabilitate the people of Wayanad who've been affected by this landslide. It's not going to be an easy task. Thousands of people have been displaced from their homes. They've lost their loved ones. So they need to start from scratch, and they need to be given new homes. They need to be given rehabilitation measures, a package of sorts. So for that reason, more and more funds are extremely important. As an interim measure, the state government had already sought 2,000 crores from the union government, but that is not going to be enough. There could be, more demands placed by the state government. So all of that will be discussed in that review meeting that the Prime Minister will hold in
Shilpa,
some
we'll come
time
back to you for
from
more
now.
on this. Keep tracking that story. We in fact have some more breaking news coming in. The Uttarakhand government is looking to implement the UCC in October. That's the latest breaking news we're getting from Uttarakhand. The UCC panel drafts rules likely to be implemented by October. In fact, on February 7, 2024, the Legislative Assembly of Uttarakhand in India passed the Uniform Civil Code Bill, and on March 13, the bill was granted assent by President Draupadi Murmu. And the bill claims to establish a uniform and equal set of rules on personal status law, including marriage, divorce, succession, and inheritance, that applies to all citizens of the state, irrespective of religion. However, according to Section 2 of the code, the law does not apply to scheduled tribes of the state. The draft was prepared by a 5-member committee headed by former Supreme Court Justice Ranjana Prakash Desai and was introduced in the Legislative Assembly by Chief Minister Pushkar Singh Dhami. That's the latest breaking news we're getting. Uttarakhand government is looking to implement UCC in October, and the panel has drafted the rules likely to be implemented by October. Aishwarya is joining us on the phone line. Aishwarya, Uttarakhand government is looking to implement the UCC in October. Give us more details on that.
One of the things that the Uttarakhand government has been doing, and that's what even the central government has been speaking about, is that some of the states which at the moment are feeling the heat of, the kind of people who are moving in, and they believe that at the moment it is important for one state to start doing it, and then we'll see the rest of the states following. That's the reason why we saw the central government also put the names of Gujarat and the state of Uttarakhand. From what we are understanding, everything has been put in place. So looking at the law and order situation, that's the big concern for the Uttarakhand state government at the moment. So the timeline that they are looking at is October. By October, they are looking at implementing UCC with regards to the law and order situation. That will after once UCC is implemented, the kind of course correction that will need to be done, the policies that will need to take place. The remaining months, we'll see the next 2 to 3 months now, the state government will be following and making all these policies to make sure that they are ready to implement the UCC for the month of October.
Right, Aishwarya. Thank you for bringing us all those details. Horrific incident of a PG trainee doctor at Kolkata's government-run RG Kar hospital raped and killed has shocked the nation. There is massive outrage over death of a 31-year-old trainee doctor. Students took to protest demanding strictest action in the case. One person has also been detained in the case. Chief Minister Mamata has assured justice. Details from initial autopsy report reveals the horror. There was bleeding from the victim's eyes and mouth and injuries all over her face and nail. Victim was also bleeding from her private parts. Victim also had injuries in her belly, left leg, neck, right hand, ring finger and lips. Reports suggest the victim was first strangulated and then smothered to death. One person has been arrested in the case so far. West Bengal Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee has assured justice to the victim's family and said that the accused would be hanged if needed. Meanwhile, students led a massive protest demanding strictest action in the case. The BJP also protested, saying that law and order had completely collapsed in the West Bengal government under Mamata's rule.
Many students have hit the streets of Kolkata, especially the medical students of this particular college who have been studying here for a long time. Now, the situation is such that the female students precisely and mostly, they are sitting over here in the hospital premises, and what they want is that the culprits should be no kind of mercy should be shown on them, and an investigation of a correct investigation should happen, and culprits should be given harsh punishment. Mamata Banerjee spoke to the family of the deceased student, and late last night, one individual from the premises of this hospital, he was detained and finally he was arrested in this particular connection. With camera person Satiki, this is Suryagni Roy for India Today, Kolkata.
এই যে দেখছেন যে রাজনীতির ছোঁয়া লাগতে দিচ্ছি না, রাজনীতির লোক আমাদের অনেক ঝামেলা করছে, অন্য রাজনীতির দলের লোক, আমরা কোনো ছোঁয়া দিতে চাইছি না। না, আমরা সাধারণভাবেই থাকতে ভালো আছি। সব ঘটে গেছে সেটার জন্য পূর্ণ তদন্ত হয় আর চারাটা সুষ্ঠু বিচার পাই। আমরা মুখ্যমন্ত্রীর উপরে টোটাল সম্পূর্ণ আস্থা রেখেছি, মুখ্যমন্ত্রী যা করবেন আমরা সেদিকে।
We are following a very transparent investigation here, and if there is any demand from the family that they want the investigation to be carried out by some other agency, from our side there is absolutely no problem.
যে গোটা পশ্চিমবঙ্গ দুষ্কৃতীদের দখলে চলে গেছে, ফলে এখনই যে ঘটনা পড়েন ওই ঘটনা ঘটার পর যা কিছু ঘটে চলেছে প্রশাসনের পক্ষ থেকে, আমাদের মনে হচ্ছে কোনো না কোনো ভাবে যে একে ধামাচাপা দেওয়ার একটা প্রচেষ্টা, এটাকে আত্মহত্যা বলার একটা প্রচেষ্টা, অথচ মানে সত্যিকারের তদন্ত করে সেই তদন্তে দোষীদের শাস্তি দেওয়ার কোনো উদ্যোগ প্রশাসনের আছে বলে আমাদের মনে হচ্ছে না।
देखिए मैडम, ये जो इंसिडेंट हुआ है आर्जीकर में, ये अत्यंत दुखजनक है। ये लड़की मेरा लड़की जैसी है, इसके साथ हुआ क्या वो तो पोस्टमार्टम रिपोर्ट के बाद ही पता चलेगी। लेकिन ये बोल सकता हूँ, एज ए प्रिंसिपल, एज ए हेड ऑफ द इंस्टीट्यूशन, आई हैव टेकन ऑल नेसेसरी स्टेप्स रिगार्डिंग इंक्वायरी एंड एवरीथिंग इज डूइंग प्रॉपर्ली। एज ए प्रिंसिपल, आई वांट the report should come as first and the culprit should get punished. This much I can say.
Bangladesh remains on high alert as violence against minorities escalates. Minorities face 205 attacks after the fall of Hasina government in Bangladesh. In Dhaka, Hindus have staged large-scale protests voicing their outrage over the increasing persecution. The unrest prompted desperate Hindu citizens to seek refuge at the India-Bangladesh border near Cooch Behar in West Bengal, leading India to increase BSF deployment to secure the area. In response to the crisis, the Indian government expressed concerns, while the interim Bangladeshi government has promised swift action to address the violence. Dhaka streets are heavily guarded with a massive army presence, including armored vehicles and checkposts equipped with heavy weaponry. Local police visibility is minimal and daily life is disrupted with schools and colleges closed.
After exit of Sheikh Hasina, now the army has been deployed
in the capital Dhaka. This is Ashutosh Mishra bringing you ground report, exclusive ground report from Ground Zero Dhaka in Bangladesh. Right behind me here in these images you see the armored vehicles have been placed all over the city, and the army has been placed along with the volunteers, the armed forces and other agencies. What you see here are the images of army being deployed in the capital city. While other side, you see the traffic being managed by the locals. Here, you see the huge number of armed forces have been deputed all over. And these are the armored vehicles right outside the international airport in Dhaka. Rarely a few number of the people who are out on the road managing the traffic here. And on the other side, the barbed wire, the fencing, everything has been. So one of the busiest area here, you see, literally deserting, and a sense of tension all over in the atmosphere, especially when you see the army and the armed forces and the troops of Bangladesh army being placed on the roads near the civilian areas. This explains the furious situation in Dhaka, Bangladesh. Who would have ever expected this kind of situation would ever unfold in Bangladesh, in the neighborhood of India? Bringing you all the ground reports from Dhaka, this is Ashutosh Mishra for India Today.
ऐसे मैंने बोला पिछले 4-5 दिनों से तो हमारा बंद है, कोई भी भारत के नागरिक वहां से वापस नहीं आ रहे हैं और एग्जैक्ट कितने लोग हैं ये आपको मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ एक्सटर्नल अफेयर्स दे पाएगा। एंड उन्होंने स्टेटमेंट भी दिया है संसद में। आज से जो 20 दिन पहले जब ये हुआ था, जब प्रोटेस्ट बांग्लादेश में हो रहे थे, तो ऑलरेडी क्लोज टू 50-60 स्टूडेंट्स हैव कम फॉर दिस बॉर्डर। एंड 4 दिन पहले भी नेपाली स्टूडेंट्स जो फ्रॉम बिलोंग टू द नेपाल उन लोग आए हैं, लेकिन पिछले सप्ताह भर से कोई भी इंडियन स्टूडेंट्स या इंडियन सिटीजन अभी नहीं आए हमारे।
We're going to slip into a short break. Up next, Vinesh Phogat makes virtual appearance in the hearing before the Court of Arbitration of Sports that lasted for nearly 3 hours. IOA releases a statement, says it's hopeful of a positive resolution.
You are watching India Today.
Motorola Razr 50 Ultra comes with Google Gemini.
उनको ये बोला गया कि उनको अपना पासपोर्ट सरेंडर करना है। उनको ये बोला गया कि हर मंडे जाकर उनको पुलिस के समक्ष पेश होना है। हाँ, इतना जरूर कहूंगी कि जब 17 महीने कैद में हो जाते हैं तो बेल मिलना बहुत स्वाभाविक बात है। इसका अर्थ कतई ही नहीं है कि वो अपराध मुक्त हैं।
भारतीय जनता पार्टी न्यायालय के निर्णय का हमेशा सम्मान करती है, लेकिन आज आम आदमी पार्टी के जो नेता सत्यमेव जयते लिख रहे हैं, जरा पिछले हफ्ते के माननीय सुप्रीम कोर्ट के निर्णय के बाद अपने किए हुए वक्तव्य को पढ़ लें। कैसी बौखलाहट थी। लेकिन हम ये जानते हैं कि शराब नीति घोटाले में मनीष सिसोदिया को बेल मिली है, और किसी भी अपराधी को बेल मिलना वो अपराध मुक्त होना नहीं होता है। जांच अभी चल रही है, साक्ष्य कोर्ट के सामने आएंगे। अरविंद केजरीवाल हो, मनीष सिसोदिया हो या बाकी लोग हो, इन सब ने शराब नीति घोटाले में कमीशन खाई है, दलाली खाई है, और ये फैसला जनता की अदालत में सबके सामने होगा।
Do you also have another bucket list? Probably because you said that you have been working since 15 years and it's now that you've got your due. Do you have that bucket list?
Yes. Many things on my bucket list, to be very honest. I think that the top one on my bucket list is to really make my mom proud. Before, it was a lot of selfish things. कि मैं ये चाहता हूँ, मैं ये चाहता हूँ. But then now it's become more like, I think I've grown up और हमें में realize होता है कि जो खुशी आप अपनी मम्मी को देते हो and the happiness on her face, the way she hugs you when she gets that happiness, it's truly, it's bigger than any award. And I feel that my mom has stuck by me, and I have to say thank you to her. And my other bucket list is, of course, to give back to society. Recently, we initiated this, just a couple of days back, we launched one NGO. It's called What Now? And it's for cyberbullying, and I'm the brand ambassador for that. And we're taking that pan-India. And one top thing on my bucket list would have to be that I want my film to be the opening night of Cannes.
You also went to Cannes this time, right? What was that experience like?
Exactly. I incepted this dream in my head that now I have to create, movies that can reach out to the whole globe. Something that makes not only me proud, but makes our country proud, puts India on the map. And of course, this year was anyway a very proud moment for India because they won at Cannes. But more than that, I feel that Cannes opened up my mind because it's a beast. And to control that beast, you can't do it alone. जितना भी मैंने cards बांटे, जितना भी मैंने कुछ किया, मैंने सिर्फ 300-400 लोग से मिला 5 दिन में. But there are 70,000 people across the globe there. And next time जब मैं जाऊंगा अगली बार, तो मैं अपनी पूरी टीम को लेकर जाऊंगा, 10-15 लोगों को लेकर जाऊंगा और तबाही मचा दूंगा वहाँ पे.
We have some breaking news coming in. Verdict on Vinesh Phogat's medal at 9:30 p.m. All eyes on Vinesh medal verdict. A billion prayers for a medal. Heartbreak or medal for Vinesh. Vinesh said in court that she didn't commit fraud. We have Nitin Srivastava joining us from the newsroom. Nitin, the panel has been given a long time for deliberation from last night to 9:30 p.m. Tonight. Do you think this would work in favor of Vinesh or against her?
See, a big development, a big information, big update coming in for Vinesh hearing. She was there virtually when hearing was conducted from, her side, IOA, PT Usha. She was also there. Harish Talve was there. Mr. Singhani, other, legal counsels were there. And it was around a 3.5 hour meeting where Vinesh was trying to convince the court that she has not done anything wrong. And before the final bout, she was under, the weight category, which is important and mandatory to met. But the information which is coming in right now is that everybody who wanted to know that what exactly is going to happen as far as the request of Vinesh Phogat is concerned, where she wanted to give away a shared medal to her, silver shared medal to her, because she won that semi-final. So the update is saying that tonight by 9:30 p.m. India time, the verdict is expected. Initially, we were told that there will be an operational, verdict on her, that be it, in favor or be it against. But as of now, we can only, wait and watch that what decision, the CAS is going to say as far as her request and appeal is concerned.
Right. Thanks, Nitin, for bringing us all those details. And that's all we have in this bulletin. For more news and updates, you can download the India Today app. You can also log on to indiatoday.in. Thanks for watching.
You are watching India Today.
Motorola Razr 50 Ultra comes with Google Gemini. Motorola Razr 50 Ultra comes with Google Gemini.
Hi, I am AI anchor Sana, bringing the top headlines for you, presented by Motorola. Wrestler Aman Sehrawat wins bronze in 57 kilograms freestyle event at Paris Olympics. Bangladesh remains on the edge as violence against minorities rises. Plane crashes in Brazil, all 62 on board killed.
a wrestling medal at the Olympic Games.
Aman Shehrawat was India's lone male wrestler in the Olympic contingent. Hopes were high from him after he bested the 2020 silver medalist Ravi Dhaya in the national trials.
Now, Cruz has one last dive.
And the 21-year-old rose to the occasion, securing a bronze medal with a 13-5 win in the bronze medal. Just like for any athlete, Aman's road to Olympic glory was paved with years of hard work and sacrifice. As a 10-year-old, Aman came to the Chhatrasal Stadium in Delhi and learned the basics of wrestling on the same sand pits and foam mats as the greats like Yogeshwar Dutt and Ravi Dhaya did. Aman made a big impression in 2022, becoming the first Indian to win gold at the Under-23 World Championships. He had a solid run in 2023 as well, winning the gold in the Asian Championships as well as the bronze in the Asian Games. He aspires to be like Sushil Kumar, and with one medal in the bag, he is already halfway through to emulating his childhood idol. Sports Bureau, India Today.
सिर्फ एक मैसेज जो दिया है उन्होंने कहा है कि हिंदुओं की सुरक्षा हो, बल्कि एक कठोर जवाब देना चाहिए कि जिस तरीके से रोज हमले हो रहे हैं हिंदू घरों में, हॉस्टल्स में, मंदिरों में, तो उस पर कोई कार्रवाई की जाए और हमारे हिंदू भाई बहन जो वहाँ पे प्रताड़ित हैं उनके लिए किसी तरीके की सुविधा दी जाए, जहाँ वो अगर देश आना चाहें देश में आए या वहाँ पर किसी हर तरीके से उनका बचाव हो।
सरकार को इनसे बात करनी चाहिए और कड़ाई सख्ती के साथ इससे बात करनी चाहिए कि वहाँ कोई भी वहाँ पे हिंदू परिवार या हिंदू कोई भी मंदिर के साथ कोई भी तोड़फोड़ ना हो और सख्ती के साथ कार्रवाई होनी चाहिए। ये प्रधानमंत्री से बात करनी चाहिए। एक भी व्यक्ति या हमारे वहाँ जानहानि ना हो, वहाँ एक भी धार्मिक स्थल पर कोई भी तोड़फोड़ ना हो, पूरी सख्ती और ताकत के साथ प्रधानमंत्री जी को उसका विरोध करना चाहिए।
Motorola Razr 50 Ultra comes with Google Gemini.
Make your media plan smarter with India Today Live TV on your connected devices. Amplify your brand with 100 million smart internet viewers. To advertise, mail us at sales@aajtak.com.
are watching India Today.
Hello, welcome. You're watching our weekend edition of In the Club. I'm the Pari Patel. I'm back with the best from the world of showbiz. First up, the Paris Olympics 2024 is on, and to witness the same and support their favorite team, the country and players, celebrities ensured they were there. From Ram Charan to Taapsee Pannu to Malaika Arora and Hollywood A-listers like Tom Cruise, singer Lady Gaga, actor Ryan Gosling, and more. Here are all the A-listers who made their way to attend this year's biggest sports event. Beyond bringing home the glory, Paris Olympics 2024 is also about celebrity sightings, and while the games are on, several of them mark their presence and how. Yes, Lady Gaga not only attended the swimming and gymnastics competition as a guest, but also presented a powerful performance at the opening ceremony of Paris Olympics 2024. In fact, this was the same time when the singer introduced her businessman boyfriend, Michael Polinsky, as her fiancé. Similarly, Celine Dion was spotted at the Paris Olympics delivering a performance at the opening ceremony on July 26. Interestingly, it was her first outing on stage ever since she had announced that she was diagnosed with a rare autoimmune neurological disorder in 2022. Now, this performance was extra special for a fact that it marked the singer's return to Olympics forefront after 1996, when she had last performed at the Atlanta Games.
This was 20 years ago. Wow. Atlanta 96 opening ceremony. Wow. Wow. She is a French figure for us. They don't make music like this anymore. We would do anything to see Celine Dion.
Ole!
Extending her full support to Indian contingent, Taapsee Pannu too made her presence felt in the city of love. She was accompanied by her husband and badminton coach, Matthias Bo. Besides her love for sports in general, it is also her sari looks that she served throughout the streets of Paris, which garnered attention.
Tom, bro.
The king of stunts, the Hollywood superstar, Tom Cruise also made his way to the stands for the women's gymnastics qualifiers to support Simone Biles. And even took time out to attend swimming competition. Cruise, who is on a break from shooting Mission Impossible 8, wasn't in his full element as a spectator, cheering and even taking selfies with his fans in the pavilion. It is also being speculated that Tom Cruise will have a special role to play during the closing ceremony of Paris Olympics 2024, as he will be passing on the baton for 2028. In one of those rare appearances, Ryan Gosling, along with his wife Eva, turned up to watch the individual Grand Prix freestyle live at the Palace of Versailles. Later, they even watched the women's artistic gymnastics. The couple was also joined by their two daughters. Singer and actor Nick Jonas was also among celebrities who attended the Paris Olympics 2024, but his reason of appearing for the event was a little too personal. Well, he was there to attend Ralph Lauren's initiative. It's a brand that also made his wedding outfit over and above his personal bond with the fashion designer.
Ralph Lauren has been kind of a part of my life at some of the most significant moments in my life.
Yeah.
Dressed me and my wife for a wedding. We met because we were sort of paired together at the Met Gala years ago with Ralph Lauren. So I was like, oh, the Olympics, I'm kind of busy, but sure, maybe I'll make an exception and go.
Now, not just these, but in fact, a slew of other celebrities, including Snoop Dogg, Kendall Jenner, Nicole Kidman, Greta Gerwig, John Legend with family, Salma Hayek, Cynthia Erivo, and Ariana Grande also made Paris Olympics 2024 a memorable one with their presence. With Gyanesha Malik, Entertainment Bureau, India Today. While the Paris Olympics 2024 kept sports enthusiasts all pumped up, the makers meanwhile decided to re-release some of their masterpieces in theatres for cinephiles to watch and live those tales, the ones which aptly sums up the shared spirit between sports and cinema. Here's a special report. It goes without saying that sports and cinema share a profound bond by the word story. So while the fever of the biggest sports event of the year, the Paris Olympic Games 2024 is on, the makers decided to re-release some of their films in theatres for the enthusiasts to relive those tales, the ones which aptly sums up the shared spirits. Chak De India.
निक्कर उकर पहन के दौड़ती फिरेंगी, कोई ना कोई स्पॉन्सरर है, न दर्शक है, न टीवी चैनल है, न मीडिया है। अब कौन सा कोच घुसेगा वुमेन्स हॉकी के दलदल में अपना कैरियर डुबोने?
एक आदमी है, कबीर खान।
I am the coach of the Indian national women's team. मुझे स्टेट्स के नाम ना सुनाई देते हैं, ना दिखाई देते हैं। सिर्फ एक मुल्क का नाम सुनाई देता है, इंडिया।
दंगल।
हर खिलाड़ी की तरह मेरा भी सपना था, देश के लिए गोल्ड मेडल लाना। जो मैं करना चाहता था वो बाहर बेटा करके दिखावेगा।
देखो ना भाई साहब, कितनी बुरी तरह से मारे हैं, सुझा दिया है मार मार के।
क्यों मारा? मैंने ना मारा था।
गित्ता बबिता ने मारा है। शुरुआत इन्ना करी थी पापा, मना कुतिया कह रहा था बबिता ना कमीनी, हम ना भी दे दो चार।
मैं हमेशा ये सोच के रोता रहा कि छोरा होता तो देश के लिए कुश्ती में गोल्ड लाता।
Nitesh Tiwari's 2016 blockbuster Dangal struck a powerful chord with audiences, vividly bringing to life the extraordinary journey of Geeta and Babita Phogat.
और वो चीज जो पहलवानी से इनका ध्यान हटावेगी, मैं उसने हटा दूंगा।
हाथों की पहलवानी, अब दंगल होगा।
Two of India's finest female wrestlers.
एक बात हमेशा याद रखना।
With gritty realism, the story illustrates how immature wrestler Mahavir Singh Phogat, portrayed by Amir Khan, after being forced to give up the sport, lived his dream through his daughters, who went on to become Commonwealth Games gold medalists. Winning a score of awards both in India and abroad, the film was widely lauded by critics. Such in A Billion Dreams.
परेशान कर दिया मुझे सोसाइटी के बच्चों ने।
मैं सिर्फ 10 साल का था जब 1983 में इंडिया ने वर्ल्ड कप जीता। वहीं से सफर मेरा शुरू हुआ। एक दिन मुझे भी वर्ल्ड कप हाथ में पकड़ना था।
Such in A Billion Dreams is a feature-length documentary that is based on the life of god of cricket, Sachin Tendulkar.
नाम क्या बोला अपने भाई का?
क्रिकेट पहले था, हम सब बाद में, और ये हम सब ने एक्सेप्ट कर लिया था। जब भी टीम अच्छा नहीं खेलती थी तो वो इतना परेशान होता था कि रात को सो भी नहीं पाता था।
इस बात के काफी सबूत हैं कि मैच फिक्सिंग हुई थी।
ये इंडियन क्रिकेट का सबसे बुरा वक्त था। हर खिलाड़ी को निराशा के बाद अपने पैरों पे खड़े होकर लड़ना जरूरी होता है।
The film chronicles the extraordinary journey of a restless 10-year-old boy who changes India's first World Cup winning captain, Kapil Dev, hoists the trophy and then grows up to fulfill his own dream of lifting it for India. It even captures substantial details about Tendulkar's personal and professional life, revealing some previously undisclosed facets. So yes, as the audiences flock to the theatres to relive these cinematic milestones, the Paris Olympics serves as the perfect backdrop, merging the fervour of live sports with the magic of the movies. With Pranjali Sethi, Entertainment Bureau, India Today. Taylor Swift hit a roadblock in Vienna, the capital city of Austria, where she was to hold 3 concerts as a part of her Eras tour. Yes, the singer had to cancel all these shows this week after 2 suspects were arrested for allegedly plotting a terror attack. Our report will bring you more details on this.
Are you ready for it? I'll be your host this evening. My name is Taylor.
It goes without saying Taylor Swift's Eras tour is one of the most successful concerts ever. And why not? Her 3-hour set list is no joke, neither is her schedule.
Welcome to the Eras Tour.
But while she has been going strong, especially since March 2023, with little to no hiccups, it's now that the unstoppable singer hit a roadblock, that too in Vienna. That's right, in a major security nightmare, Taylor Swift, who was set to hold not 1 but 3 shows in the capital city of Austria, had to cancel those after 2 suspects were arrested for allegedly plotting a terror attack. The organizers, Barracuda Music, confirmed the news in a long post which read, "We have no choice but to cancel the 3 scheduled shows for everyone's safety. All tickets will be automatically refunded." The same was also confirmed by Austria's Chancellor Karl Nehammer through a statement, while Austria's top security chief further explained what exactly prompted the authorities to cancel the concert.
19-jähriger österreichischer Staatsbürger wurde heute in den Morgenstunden in Ternitz festgenommen. Eine weitere Festnahme in diesem Zusammenhang erfolgte heute in den Nachmittagsstunden in Wien. In der Folge haben die Beschuldigten konkrete Vorbereitungshandlungen zu einem terroristischen Anschlag getroffen.
Swift was scheduled to play 3 shows in the European city between August 8th and August 10th, with approximately 65,000 spectators expected at each show. Interestingly, this was her second last stop in the European leg of a mega popular concert, with just 5 shows in London remaining before swift return to North America, with Eras tour dates resuming in November in Toronto before it finally concludes on December 8th, 2024.
The dream high in the quiet of the night, you know that I caught it. Bad boy, shiny toy with the price, you know that I bought it.
Previously, and in fact most recently, Taylor Swift's highly successful Eras tour took over Zurich. And Munich.
We could leave the Christmas lights until January. It's our place, we make the rules. There's a dazzling haze, a serious play about here.
And the packed stadium couldn't help but live the dream they had been dreaming of, one song at a time.
Got nothing in my brain. That's what people say. That's what people say. I go on too many days, but I can't make them stay. At least that's what people say. That's what people say. But I keep moving. Can't stop, won't stop moving. It's like I got this music in my mind saying it's gonna be alright. Cause the player's gonna play, 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 play. And the haters gonna hate, 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 hate. This night is sparkling. Don't you let it go. Rushing all the way home.
Entertainment Bureau, India Today.
Wondering if you knew I was enchanted to you.
Not long ago, one saw Margot Robbie turn into this beautiful Barbie every time she stepped out. It's now Blake Lively who had been taking fashion up a notch with her style statement, one outfit at a time. Yes, the actress who essays the role of a florist, Lily Bloom, in her new film, It Ends With Us, ended up demonstrating how to master the method dressing trend with flair. Our special report on this. When it comes to method dressing, Hollywood A-listers never go without being noticed. And after Margot Robbie and Zendaya, it clearly is Blake Lively who's taking fashion up a notch with her style statement, one outfit at a time. Yes, the actress who ensured she didn't leave any stone unturned for promoting her film It Ends With Us beautifully transformed herself into her character, which is of a florist named Lily Bloom. In fact, she only ended up demonstrating how to master the method dressing trend with flair. Ahead of its release, a special screening of It Ends With Us was held in New York City, and it was Blake Lively's choice of outfit that did all the talking. Yes, for the event, Blake channeled her inner Britney Spears as she donned the latter's early 2000s